नहीं, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
सर।
आवाज आ रही है?
यस सर।
आ, तो आप तैयार हो जाइए, बिल्कुल आप बोर्ड के सामने जैसे देना है उस हिसाब से। और आप अपना वीडियो भी ऑन कर लीजिए।
सर वीडियो कर लिया है
वीडियो
आपने।
ऑन है सर।
अच्छा है यार, तो मुझे तो नहीं दिखा। अच्छा ठीक है। आप प्रियदर्शनी, आपका एजुकेशनल लास्ट क्वालिफिकेशन क्या है?
सर आई हैव डन माय DLLB फ्रॉम यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद
इन विच ईयर?
इन 2022।
20। अभी क्या कर रही हैं आप?
सर आई एम करेंटली परस्यूइंग LLM। आई एम इन सेकंड सेमेस्टर।
सेकेंड सेमेस्टर। ओके। अभी आप क्या तैयार करके आई हैं आप?
सर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड IPC और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आई
ओके।
हैव दैट।
ट्रांसजेंडर का मीनिंग समझती हैं आप?
यस सर।
ट्रांसजेंडर
यस सर।
क्या लीगल स्टेटस है इनका?
यस सर।
ये
आफ्टर यस सर। After the case of NASA, the Constitution held that the transgender has also equal right and opportunity with that in the country we have, like the normal people will have. They will also
ओके,
have the
ये
qualification.
ठीक है। दर्शनी, क्या ये यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज में अपीयर हो सकते हैं? ट्रांसजेंडर यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं?
Yes, sir. They can apply.
ये किस में ट्रीट किए जाएंगे, ही आर सी?
So they have the separate separate and distinct word. They cannot be they will come under the minority.
माइनर,
Minority.
माइनॉरिटी। जो एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म्स होते हैं उसमें दो कॉलम होते हैं, सेक्स को लेके, जेंडर को लेके, ई और सी। क्या तीसरा कॉलम भी होता है उसमें?
सर अभी स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन तो नहीं किया गया कि तीसरा कॉलम होना चाहिए, बट आफ्टर द नालसा केस इट वाज डिक्लेयर्ड दैट दे शुड हैव आल्सो द सेम राइट एंड privilege like the normal people should have.
ओके। और प्रियदर्शनी, ए नॉर्थ साइड से आता है और बी साउथ साइड से, और बीच में एक मिस्टर एक्स हैं जिससे दोनों की एनमिटी है। दोनों के पास रिवॉल्वर है, ए और बी के पास, और एक साथ दोनों फायर करते हैं और मिस्टर एक्स को दो गोलियां लगती हैं और उनकी डेथ काज हो जाती है ऑन द स्पॉट। ए और बी की लाइबिलिटी क्या होगी?
Sir, both, sir, pardon, please.
टेल मी।
Sir,
वो ए
A
और
and
बी की लाइफ।
sir, A and B दोनों एक दूसरे को मारना चाहते हैं. Are you asking this?
ओके, मैं क्वेश्चन फिर रिपीट कर देता हूँ।
Pardon, sir.
ए नॉर्थ साइड से आता है और बी साउथ साइड से आता है, अपोजिट साइड से दोनों आते हैं, और एक बीच में मिस्टर एक्स है। और ए और बी की दोनों की अलग अलग एक्स से एनमिटी है, इतनी है कि दोनों दोनों का एक्स का मर्डर कर देना चाहते हैं। दोनों एक साथ
Yes, sir.
अपोजिट साइड से फायर करते हैं, दो गोलियां लगती है उनको, मिस्टर एक्स को, उनकी ऑन द स्पॉट डेथ हो जाती है। ए और बी की लाइबिलिटी क्या होगी?
So A and B will be held liable for the offense of murder, but they will be held liable for the separate offense
कॉमन
because
इंटेंशन नहीं लागू?
there is
कॉमन इंटेंशन applicable नहीं होगा?
no, sir, there is no common intention because there has not been a prior meeting of the mind.
ओके, तो कॉमन इंटेंशन और सेम इंटेंशन, इन दोनों का इंटेंशन तो सेम था, क्या बोथ आर सेम?
No, sir, they did not commit for the same. They did not plan for the same offense together, and sir, they did not form a same opinion for any offense. So they did not form the prior concert of mind.
कोई पॉपुलर केस इस पे है?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
बताइए।
Virendra Kumar Shah versus Emperor.
इंडस रिवर केस से क्या मतलब है? आप इंडस रिवर केस का नाम सुना है?
Yes, sir.
इंडस इंडस रिवर केस।
Sir. Sir, I don't know. I'm unable to recall it.
महबूब शाह वर्सेज इम्परर का केस कॉमन इंटेंशन पे आपने पढ़ा है?
Yes, sir.
किस कोर्ट से डिसाइड हुआ था?
The House of Lords.
हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड या प्रीवी काउंसिल?
So I'm not sure about this.
ओके, प्रियदर्शनी,
Yes, sir.
बीइंग ए वुमेन, आप ऑफेंसेज अगेंस्ट वीमेंस के जो प्रोविजंस हैं एग्जिस्टिंग आईपीसी में, उसको
Yes,
लेकर कोई चेंज चाहती हैं आप?
yes, sir. So, yes, sir. In the existing IPC, there is no provision for the marital rape. So, sir, I want to change for the marital rape, and sir, the offense against the women and the children should be more heinous. They should be punishable more punishability.
बिलो 15 years की गर्ल के साथ उसका हस्बैंड उसके मर्जी के खिलाफ रिलेशन कायम करता है, क्या ये रेप की डिफिनेशन में आएगी?
Yes, sir. It will come under the definition of the rape. It is provided under Section 375 of the IPC.
तो ये तो मैरिटल रेप
But, sir, sir, but in the
आप
IPC,
करें, देयर इज नो प्रोविजन।
but sir, in the existing IPC, there is no mention that a marital rape can be committed on the minor, on the major woman too. It is defined that if rape is committed under the below of 15 years of age, then it will come under the ambit of the under Section 375.
गैंग रेप में एक वीमेंस का क्या रोल है? उसके अगेंस्ट में क्या चार्ज फ्रेम किया जा सकता
So women के अगेंस्ट में
है? नो, एक वीमेंस के अगेंस्ट में
sir your voice is
3-4 लोग हैं, जिसमें एक लेडी भी गैंग में शामिल है, और इस गैंग के साथ जो है, ये गैंग के लोग जो है एक लेडी के साथ रेप करते हैं, तो इस लेडी के अगेंस्ट में क्या चार्जेस लगेंगे? क्या गैंग रेप के लिए लाइबल होगी?
सवाल सुना आपने प्रियदर्शनी?
yes sir. She will not be held liable for the gang rape because in the rape there is a definition that there must be some penetration with regard to the women, and section 375 is a man specific rape is a man specific provision.
आर यू श्योर?
Sir, there is no provision
उस बी उस वीमेंस के अगेंस्ट में उस वीमेंस में जो गैंग में शामिल है के अगेंस्ट में कोई ऑफेंस कमिट नहीं बनेगा।
Yes, sir. She will be held liable, but not for the gang rapes.
किस चीज के लिए लाइबल होगी? ओके प्रियदर्शनी, अभी आपने बताया कि पेंट्रेशन नेसेसरी है। क्या गैंग रेप के कंडीशंस में एवरी मेल के थ्रू ये रिक्वायर है कि बिना उसके वो गैंग रेप के लिए जो है लाइबल नहीं होंगे? ओके। और प्रियदर्शनी, लॉ कार्ट में
Yes, sir.
दो मैगजीन, वालेंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया और साइंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया, दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है? वालेंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया और साइंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया।
Sir, in voluntary non-fit injury, the person has given the consent for the risk involved in and whatever he is consenting for that, and so he cannot avail the right because he has waived his right by giving the consent. But sir, I don't know about the scientific.
व्हाट और साइंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया, साइंटी
Sir,
नॉन फिट में साइंटी वर्ड जो है वो आप सपोज करिए कि वो नॉलेज से रिलेटेड, देन दोनों को डिस्टिंग्विश कर पाएंगे?
so it is related to the knowledge then sir he has the knowledge of involving the risk in that particular things that what if he
नहीं,
is
आपने बताया, देखिए कंसेंट है तो डिफेंस है,
yes
लाइबिलिटी नहीं। नॉलेज है तो फिर टार्टिस लाइबिलिटी के केस में क्या होगा? ये डिफेंस पोस्ट नॉलेज।
sir sorry sir I'm unable to form any opinion about it.
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट में
Yes, sir.
कंसेंट कहाँ डिफाइन है?
Under section 13 of the Indian Contract Act 1872.
और क्या चीजें कंसेंट में नहीं ट्रीट की जाती है?
So which the consent should not be obtained by the coercion, inducement, fraud, and misrepresentation.
आपने फिर से रिपीट करिए, तीन चीजें बताई हैं कि कुछ और भी है? आपने सेक्शन 15 से लेके 22 तक स्टडी किया होगा।
Yes, sir. So consent should not be sir.
हाँ बताएं।
Consent should not be obtained by the coercion, undue influence, mistake, fraud, misrepresentation, and fraud.
ओके, मिस्टेक के कंडीशन में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे क्या अफेक्ट पड़ता है?
So mistake, the contact be voidable.
सपोज ए एक एग्रीमेंट में इंटर करता है और उसे लगता है कि कोलकाता से मुंबई के लिए एक शिप जानी,
Yes, sir.
जिसका नाम जेब्रा, बट वो जानी है जुलाई में, और बी बी जो है कोलकाता एक शिप जेब्रा है और वो अगस्त में तो अपना कंसाइनमेंट पूरा करेगी। इस कंडीशन में क्या ये दोनों का कंसेंसस आइटम है?
Sir, no,
क्या
sir.
दोनों मिस्टेक में माने जाएंगे?
Yes, sir.
जी,
Yes, sir. They will come.
क्या होगा इस
Sir, the contract will be void.
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल बी वाइड? तो मिस्टेक का दोनों का होना चाहिए या एक का से हो तो भी काम चल जाएगा?
So if there is a unilateral mistake, then it should be the voidable. And if there is a bilateral mistake, then the contract would be void.
नहीं, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो एग्जाम्पल अभी आपके सामने था, इसमें मिस्टेक दोनों ने किया है, तो क्या सेम सेंस में ये मिस्टेक है जिसके वजह से वो एग्रीमेंट आपका वाइड हो जाएगा?
So no, sir. They did not
अभी
agree
आप
to sense.
ओके, अच्छा, एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन हमारा ये है कि तीन आप बेसिक अपने खूबियां, अपनी मेरिट बताइए जिसके वजह से आपको जज बना दिया जाए।
Sir, sir, I find myself eligible. I find myself eligible for this because I come from the background of a humanity, and I have pursued my studies in BLLB 5 year integrated course, which I taught which I learned the basic nature of the society and the law. So, and the both things must be connected with each other, and I have well acquainted with the law as well as the as well as the society. And sir, with this, I will be more impartial and more reasonable by giving the judgment, because sir, with my honesty and the impartiality, I will able to do the justice.
आप अपने पीछे के एक्सपीरियंसेस में कहीं इम्पार्शियल अपने आप को साबित कर पाई हैं? किसी भी मैटर में कोई ऐसा इलिस्ट्रेशन दृष्टांत है?
So I
कोई हो
have,
तो आप बताएं।
so in a general life or related to
हाँ, आपकी जो भी आज आज और अभी से ठीक पहले आपकी इम्पार्शियलिटी का कोई बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल है आपके पास?
yes, sir, I want a moment. Sorry, sir, I'm unable to form an opinion.
तो आपने कैसे जज कर लिया अपने आप को? या आपको इतना टाइम के बाद भी ये नहीं आप रिकॉल कर पा रही हैं कि आप कभी पार्शियल रही भी?
Sir, because I have not faced I have not faced such type of serious. Your voice was not.
पार्शियल है, बट आपने टेस्ट नहीं किया है कि आप इम्पार्शियल है या नहीं।
सर, आपकी वॉइस में ग्लिच आ रहा है, बार बार बहुत क्लियर नहीं हो रही है।
अच्छा, अनु सर, आप टेकअप करें।
एक मिनट
सर आ गए हैं सर।
अनुज एक मिनट। स्वाति, वो पूछ रहे हैं कि इम्पार्शियलिटी का कोई एग्जाम्पल अभी हाल में आपने देखा है, एक्सपीरियंस किया है?
Yes, sir.
बता
Sir,
दो।
I have not experienced right now. Recently, I have not experienced, because sir, I have no authority to do anything which I can show my impartiality.
स्वाति, आप लोग, स्वाति।
हाँ, प्रियदर्शनी, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
So you want to be a judge?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're a very young girl, I was seeing. And can you tell me who your ideals are?
Yes, ma'am. In my childhood, I used to watch a serial named Vrasat. That inspired me a lot to become a judge because when I saw that, I asked to my father that why everyone is giving so much attention and respect to him, and he said to me that he is the most honorable and respectful man of the country. And from that day, ma'am, I decided to be a judge because, ma'am,
Okay, no, I'm asking you in your life, whom do you admire the most? What are your idealist person, who's your
ideally,
idol? And why?
ma'am, my father,
Why?
ma'am, he is very industrious and he has worked hard in his lifetime during his lifetime to achieve everything for us and for the society as well.
So you believe that working hard is a very important thing in life.
Yes, ma'am, indeed.
So while working hard, tell me, wanted to ask you, when you've studied from law faculty and you've passed out from the law degree from Allahabad University, isn't it? So,
University of Allahabad.
yeah.
In,
So when was Allahabad High Court established?
ma'am, 1868.
Are you sure? Okay, which is the oldest high court? Do you have any idea in India to be
Yes, ma'am.
established?
Calcutta High Court.
When was it established?
Ma'am, exactly, I don't remember the date.
Allahabad High Court, as far as I know, is established in 1866.
1866. Sorry,
No,
ma'am.
no, I don't know. You check up and let me know later if I'm correct or not. I think
I
it is.
don't remember. I just know that.
Okay. So how many high courts are there in India? Any idea?
Yes, ma'am. They,
How many states are there?
ma'am, 28.
So does every state have a high court?
No, ma'am.
So how many high courts? Any idea?
Ma'am, I can guess there are 25 high courts.
No, correct. So okay. Now tell me, what are your views on triple talaq?
Ma'am, I consider it's a good decision of the Honorable Supreme Court, ma'am, because the triple talaq is instantaneous words which is given by the man. It was an arbitrary action of the man. Then whenever he wants to say that talaq, then the woman has no right to object the man against, and they have no right to go against them. It was
Okay, I've understood your in favor of the Honorable Supreme Court having ruled against the immediate divorce proceedings that it entailed out of the triple talaq that was there. So, is it not an intervening in the personal law of the minority community? Is it part of the secular state that we are in?
ma'am, according to the personal laws of the Muslim, it is not defined that it cannot be curtailed. According to the Article 13, if it is violate the provision of the basic provision and basic things, then the Supreme Court has right to curtail.
So, tell me, what is rule of law?
Ma'am, rule of law is means the law is the supreme and no one can above the law.
What is law?
Ma'am, law means that rules and regulation which is governed by the any authority.
Any authority. That's what I'm asking you. So triple talaq was a rule or as per the Muslims. So following that was part of rule of law. Or what? What is rule of law? Is it keeping the constitution above everything else, so that the major society is governed by these principles that are enshrined in our constitution? Is it correct if I say that?
Yes, ma'am.
So by abolishing triple talaq, are we also giving importance to gender equality?
Yes, ma'am. Indeed.
So is it not a part of the fundamental principles of what is given to us in our constitution? The fundamental right of equality. Gender equality is also there. Isn't it a major part of that?
Yes, ma'am. Article 14 also state that
So that's what I wanted you, Acha. Now tell me, being a girl, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions on gender today.
yes, ma'am.
What are your views of the UP laws of succession? Of can a married lady inherit property of her father?
Yes, ma'am. She can inherit the property of her father.
How? What is the change? Was there any change, or she could always inherit?
Ma'am, I have not gone through such a deep way, but I have knowledge that she can inherit the property of her father.
And can a married daughter be considered a legal heir of her father? And which class of heir?
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. She's class 1 heir. There's no difference. Okay. So, do you have a favorite law?
Yes, ma'am. I have read contract and
No,
rights
you
in.
have read. You have studied law, so obviously you have read. But which is your favorite?
Ma'am, I cannot say that because law is so vast and everything is so vast. I cannot say that I am in a master, but I have read. I have tried my level best to.
Okay. All the best. Do well. It's your interview is day after tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Virendra?
Sure. 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 अनुजी आप स्टार्ट करो.
Sir. Priyadarshini,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned that your favorite subject is a contract. What is a
Yes.
unilateral contract?
Uh,
Is there
Sorry,
any such type of a classification, unilateral or bilateral contract?
sir, I have not read the classification of unilateral and bilateral contracts.
Okay. Executory contract and executive contract.
Sorry, sir.
Voidable contract and void contract. Is there any provision relating to void contract in a Indian Contract Act 1872?
Yes, sir.
Define करिए.
So, void contracts are those contracts which is not enforceable by the law.
Have you not heard the executive contract?
So,
So
I
far?
have heard, but right now I'm unable to recall it.
Okay. And what is consent in criminal law? As we know that the consent mitigate the liability of the person or accused,
Yes, sir.
or sometimes it diminishes the liability.
Yes, sir.
So what is a consent? Under which section are of the Indian Penal Code is defined?
So, consent is not defined under the Indian Penal Code, but it is mentioned in the various provisions like 87 of the IPC. And so there are various provisions which state that the if anything is done with the benefit of the unsoundness mind and the minor child, then consent can be obtained by his guardian and the person who is capable.
Suppose a 12 year above the 12 below the age of 12 year of child has given the consent, whether it is a consent or not.
No, sir, it cannot be considered as a consent.
Where it is written? How you can say this?
So I cannot recall the exact provision, but it is not defined that a 12-year boy or girl can give a consent.
If the consent is given by the unsoundness of mind, because of the
No.
unsoundness of mind, is whether it is a consent,
No, sir.
then what is a consent? If not
Yes.
given by the intoxicated or not by the unsoundness of mind,
The consent
not
is given by the person who is a measure and who is sound mind and who is capable of giving it.
what is a past consideration in a contract?
So past consideration are those things which a person has done something for another person, and he has done he has done. So I want to take a moment for.
Okay.
So past consideration basically relates to the service of the past, which is held in the past.
Where the provision is given in Indian Contract Act about the past consideration, whether it is applicable in English law or not?
So the provision has not been given under the Indian Contract Act specifically.
Section 25 clause 2, what says?
Section 25 clause 2.
Just talk about the past consideration, okay?
So exactly, I'm unable to remember.
Okay. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है आपका दूसरा टॉपिक सर. एक प्रोविजन आता है आपके यहाँ कि आर्टिकल 14 परमिट द रीजनेबल क्लासिफिकेशन बट प्रोहिबिट द क्लास लेजिस्लेशन. क्या मतलब है इसका?
So it is stated that there should be the legitimate differentia. And then it should
Legitimate differencia.
Yes,
And
sir.
the second one is?
Forward the class legislation because sir.
I just want to know the meaning of this phrase. What is the meaning of this phrase? As a layman, I want to know this.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, the person sir, can I give an example? Sir, for example,
Just precise your answer in a single line or a 2-line maximum.
so the classification must be based on the reasonableness. It should be just fair and
लॉ में कहा जाता है कि नेसेसिटी डज नॉट ओबे द लॉ. क्या ये हमारे यहाँ आईबीसी में लागू है?
Yes, sir.
कहाँ पे?
So under section 81 of the Indian Penal Code.
क्या कहता है?
It states that for the prevent of the greater evil, we can harm to the lesser evil. Necessity knows no laws.
चलो, एक सी में हमारी शिप जो है वो डूब रही है और दो लोग उतर गए हैं और एक राफ्ट मिलता है और दोनों उसकी तरफ जा रहे हैं और जैसे ही दोनों पहुंचने वाले हैं एक दूसरे को पुश करके उस राफ्ट को पकड़ लेता है और उस पर तैरने लगता है. Whether he has committed any wrong or not?
No, sir, he has not committed any wrong.
Why?
Sir, due to the necessity.
Due to
the necessity.
चलो सेकंड कंडीशन. और एक आदमी उस राफ्ट पे ऑलरेडी है, उसको धक्का दे करके वो चला जाता है.
So he has commit.
यहाँ नेसेसिटी नहीं है.
So in both the case there is a necessity, but sir, the situation demands that first he will.
So what kind of a necessity is required under section 81? I just want to know this.
Yes, sir. Necessity requires that if nothing is an offense which is done by any any
चलो, आपने कहा कि आपने ह्यूमैनिटीज और लॉ दोनों को पढ़ा और सोसाइटी को समझा। ऐसा कौन सा स्कूल है जो लॉ और सोसाइटी के बारे में बात करता है?
the sociological?
सोशियोलॉजिकल, लॉ इन फंक्शन। दो प्रोपाउंडर्स के नाम बताइए सोशियोलॉजिकल स्कूल्स के।
So Henry Mann and Montesquieu.
हेनरी मैन हिस्टोरिकल के हैं, सोशियोलॉजिकल के?
So what I'm remembering that.
रास्को पाउंड को सुना है आपने?
Yes, sir.
क्या थ्योरी प्रोपाउंड किया था उन्होंने? Because sociological school talks about the function of law. Okay, it just connect the society as in the law in a better manner.
Yes, sir.
वोल्कजिस्ट क्या होता है? वोल्कजिस्ट।
So I have heard and I have read, but right now, sir, I have not recently gone through the jurisprudence because I read for the purpose of the prelims.
Okay, you have only learned about the prelims.
Sir.
चलिए, मुझे बताइए, आप जो है तलाक पढ़ा है आपने?
Yes, sir.
तलाक और डाइवोर्स में क्या फर्क है? Is there any difference?
No, sir, there is no difference. Talaq is given by the Muslim.
Divorce is given by Hindu?
No,
Parsi
sir.
or other?
No. Sir, I have not gone through that.
Okay. आपने सोर्स ऑफ मुस्लिम लॉ भी पढ़ा होगा?
Yes, sir.
कितने सोर्स हैं?
So there are 4 sources.
सोर्सेस कौन कौन से हैं? नंबर 1,
So Quran, Hadith,
Then?
Ijma, and sir, press. Sir, I'm not.
कयास?
Yes, sir. क्या?
कयास, कयास क्या होता है?
Sir, I have not gone through the Muslim law.
Not go through the Muslim law. Only in a contract, only in IPC. Okay.
Constitution.
Constitution is also. Ex post facto law क्या होता है?
So ex post facto laws are those laws where with the if there is a violation of any provision at the commencement of the constitution, then the person will be held liable, but it does not it prohibit the extended punishment. It does not bar the reduction of punishment.
डेमोक्रेसी क्या है?
So democracy right now I'm unable to.
ट्राई तो करो भाई डेमोक्रेसी बताने की, ट्राई करो, डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री में हो तो बताने की कोशिश तो करो।
Sir, in a democracy, in a general term, we can say that everyone has equal rights to speech and to do anything except something is barred by the law.
If I say, Priyadarshini, it is the government by the people, not is better one.
Yes, sir. It is
Government by the people.
Government by
Yeah.
we are answerable to the government are answerable to the people of India. It is
I'm giving
governed.
you one more clue. Rule of the people.
Yes,
Rule
sir.
of the law. 3 choices I'm giving you. You choose one. Government of the people, rule of the people, rule of the law, what will it choose?
So democracy basically can set the uh,
I'll
will
give
of
one
the
more.
will
I'll
of
give
the
one. What saying? Rule of the.
will of the people.
I'm giving you one more hint. You go to preamble of the Constitution. Can you derive from there
What, sir?
democracy?
Pardon, please?
From the preamble of the Constitution, can you derive the democracy? What have
Yes, sir.
democracy? What is
Yes, sir.
written there?
Yes, sir.
What
It
is
is
written
derived
there?
from the preamble.
Huh?
It is derived from the preamble, sir.
Then why you not said this? What is word there?
Sir?
What is word there? Sovereignty is in the people. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Democratic Republic.
Yes, sir. Democratic
Huh?
Republic.
Now,
Sovereignty.
now, now you answer again. What is democracy? I have given you sufficient hint. Now you frame a sentence about the democracy.
Yes, sir.
Aram se, there is no hurry. Just I want to listen. How you can frame. You want more help, or you can frame it.
Sir, I can frame it.
Just try. Just try. Just try with these.
Yes, sir.
हो जाएगा. Just try.
So democracy means that the government has taken the authority by the will of the people, and the government is answerable to them.
Very nice. Lovely. Great. Yes.
They are
Yes.
elected by the people. They are elected by the people, and they are responsible to them.
Very nice. Very nice. Great. Yeah. Yalo sir ले.
सर बेटा इनएविटेबल एक्सीडेंट क्या होता है?
So these are those accidents for which so these are those accidents for which there is no so can I speak in Hindi?
ओके
ये वो एक्सीडेंट होते हैं जिसपे ह्यूमन चाहकर भी उसको नहीं रोक सकता.
अच्छा मान लो मैं फोर साइट कर सकता हूँ उसे तो
Sir, it is inevitable because
यदि मैं फोर साइट कर ले रहा हूँ तो फिर इनेटेबल कहाँ हो? उधर जाऊंगा ही नहीं.
sir because you have no control over this.
और
They are
उसके
the
साथ एक चीज और जोड़िए ना उसके साथ आप. फॉर दैट यू कैन नॉट फोर साइट फॉर दैट इवेंट. आप उसकी कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकते हैं. यदि हमने कल्पना कर लिया और उसके बाद उसे कंट्रोल नहीं कर रहा हूँ फिर भी वो रॉन्ग कर दिया हमने तो उसके लिए तो लाइबिलिटी होगी ना मेरी.
Yes, sir.
चलो ठीक है भाई. फ्रॉम माय साइड वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन आप बता दीजिए. एक क्वेश्चन और जो है किस में से पूछ लें आपसे जिसमें आप मोस्ट कंफर्टेबल हो. एक लॉ बता दीजिए और स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक.
Yes, sir. The Article 21.
आर्टिकल
21 of the Indian Constitution Act.
ओके. पॉल्यूटर पे प्रिंसिपल क्या है बेटा?
So polluter pay principle state that if anyone is infringing the anyone is infringing the society by sorry sir, I'm not able to answer it.
आप हिंदी में ज्यादा कंफर्ट फील कर रही हैं. आप हिंदी में बताइए.
हाँ हिंदी में बता दो. चलो वो केस का नाम बता दो जिस केस में ये इवॉल्व हुआ था. अपने यहाँ कोई केस है ऐसे आर्टिकल 21 में इन्वायरमेंटल जो राइट है वो तो फंडामेंटल राइट हो गया है ना.
सुभाष कुमार वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया.
सॉरी
सुभाष कुमार वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया.
तो उसमें तो क्लीन एयर और फ्रेश एयर के बारे में बात किया गया बेटा.
So it is
पॉल्यूटर
related. Yes, sir.
चलो
I'm
ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू, ऑल द बेस्ट सर,
Thank
थैंक यू सर।
शौर्य, शौर्य,
सर प्रणाम सर।
हाँ, लो भैया लो, ठीक।
बेटा आप हॉबी के लिए क्या करते हैं? व्हाट डू यू लव टू डू?
Good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग। आर यू एबल टू लिसन टू मी?
Yes, sir.
टेल मी व्हाट डू यू लाइक टू डू इन योर लीजर, जब आपके पास समय हो खाली, जिसे आप हॉबी कह सकें या ऐसा कुछ
भाई
कह सकें।
शौर्य, आप बड़े स्मार्ट लग रहे हो, सदरी कुर्ता चश्मा, चश्मा सूट कर रहा है आपको।
सर चश्मा ही वाला है सर, जो कंप्यूटर से बचने के लिए सर आंखियां लाल हो जाता है रोज सर, 2-3
नहीं नहीं,
घंटे।
बहुत सूट कर रहा है, आप सूट कर रहा है।
सर
ओके।
थैंक यू सर।
Sir,
बताओ।
yes, sir. Cooking food and watching web series and movies too.
Okay, all right. Tell me about the worst recipe that you can prepare, which in which you have often failed.
Yes, sir. So green vegetables. Uh,
And how do you analyze what are the reasons that you are not able to prepare that recipe?
because sir, it doesn't give that much taste that my mother prepares. That I don't think that I can prepare.
All right. And have you tried to inquire as to what is the special strategy that she uses and you have not been able to master?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about it.
Sir, she has a taste in her hand first of all, and so she prepared the masala first, and sir वो तड़का लगाती हैं, and sir I am not able to do that thing properly.
Okay. All right. Web series. Okay. Which web series have you watched lately?
Sir, Criminal Justice and Gullak.
All right. What has been the impact of web series?
Sir, if I watched a good web series, then sir then I inspired a lot from that, because sir I can connect my life with that too.
Okay, let me rephrase my question. What has been the impact of web series on viewership, on going to cinemas and all? How has it affected? Have web series impacted the cinematic viewership adversely? Do you think so? That now people no more want to go to cinemas and theaters?
Yes, sir. People do not want to go the cinema to watch the web series. They enjoy the watching the web series on Netflix at their home by having the snacks and all the fun.
From their comfort zone, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What is your comfort zone in law?
So my comfort zone is constitution.
All right, and I will not ask any question from that. Let us try to understand about your currency, how current you are about law. You must have heard about same-sex marriages.
Yes, sir.
They're being debated a lot of late, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What problem? See, it has already decriminalized. We all know this, that it has got decriminalized. However, there is still a long uphill battle for legalization of same-sex marriages that is going on. You tell me one thing, what are the apprehensions of the society behind the proposition that same-sex marriages should not be recognized, at least for the purposes of giving them right to adoption of child? Why people are worried that same-sex couple should not be allowed to adopt a child? What is your view and understanding?
So first of all, they will impact on the children as well as the society in a very worst way, because same-sex marriage is like, sir, we don't consider them as a couple to live in the society, And sir, although they have right to live on their choice, and they can live with whom they feel comfort, but sir, for the social perspective, they are not. We are not ready to accept them, because sir, it gives a social stigma on us that it will somehow impact on our lives too.
I'll reiterate the question. I think you deviated. My question is there a problem if the same-sex couple adopts a child? That's all. That's my question. It's not about society and us. And what is your view on that?
Yes, sir. It will be a problem because, sir, they will. First of all, they will have not that legal. They will not have that legal justification to adopt any child, because
That is what I'm asking. Is there a problem in giving them the legal right to adopt? That's what I'm asking.
sir, there is not problem to giving them as a legal right to adopt a child, because sir, they want to live their life, and sir, everyone wants a child to have with them, to enjoy with them, and to sir, and to there are the social status in the country that the boy or girl हम सर हम वो करते हैं, मतलब जैसे सर उनकी डेथ होती है तो ये माना जाता है कि लड़का जब तक उनको जलाए नहीं तब तक वो पुण्य का काम नहीं होता है, तो ये सर एक कहीं ना कहीं ये सोसाइटी को इम्पैक्ट करता है, तो इस चीज की वजह से अभी भी थोड़ा सा लीगल जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं दिया जा रहा है।
उस पर्सपेक्टिव से देख रहे हो, मैं आपसे प्रश्न पूछता हूँ कि बच्चे के लिए, एक बच्चा जो किसी अनाथालय में है मान लीजिए और उसका कोई देखरेख करने वाला नहीं है, should we allow that child to be brought up by a same-sex couple, or is there a problem?
सर हमें अलाउ करना चाहिए, क्योंकि कहीं उसकी लाइफ में तो सर कोई नहीं है, तो एज अ वो अपनी लाइफ अकेले जीने से बेहतर है कि उसको पेरेंट्स मिले, उसको वो फैसिलिटीज मिले, उसको एजुकेशन मिले, वो सर कुछ कर पाए अपनी लाइफ में। तो सर मेरे ओपिनियन में तो सर द चिल्ड्रन शुड बी।
Since you mentioned in your introduction, and I happened to notice it, that you have also studied sociology, or what? You said humanities. Okay. You are from humanity background.
I have not studies the humanity. I have completed my BLLB honors from University of Allahabad in all subjects.
But you somehow said that when somebody asked you that what are the three qualities which will favor you in becoming a good judge, then you said something about humanity or something.
That was.
Yeah, I may not have heard properly. That is all right. Okay, you tell me generally. Just as a matter of general understanding of a person, whether or not from humanities background, imagine a situation where a person who has different sexual orientation gets married in a heterosexual relationship. First, according to the norms of the society, there is a girl. So let's imagine a girl. That girl actually does not identify oneself as girl, but she or he, whatever, but this is the term now used, they get married to another male. But later on, obviously, this union cannot survive for long, because it's a democracy and it's an evolving and expressive and jubilant democracy. Sooner or later, the person realizes that, no, I cannot sustain this relationship, gets a divorce or whatever, gets separated, and then because now it is decriminalized, then he or she goes for a same-sex marriage. Okay, it visualize this situation, but the issue is that that person is supposed pregnant from the first relationship. Okay, now the person gets to have a child, but now they are same-sex couple. How do you see this legally? What difficulties will come? You understood my question? You understood the situation? That there may be a same-sex couple who may have a child from a previous relationship. Can we snatch the child from them because their marriage is not legalized? Can they be allowed to raise the child or not?
Sir, recently I don't know about that they can raise the child or not. But sir, in a social way, social fact, I can say that if both the couple have ready to raise their child in their own terms, then they can allow.
All right, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, tell me one thing, since you have mentioned constitution as one of your comfort zones, so we can just take a couple of questions on that. This personal data protection bill is being talked about a lot because it has been introduced in the parliament. Does it recognize right to privacy as a fundamental right?
Yes, sir. In the case of the case Puttasamy, it was held that the right to privacy is our fundamental right. Then, sir,
I'm
center
asking
also.
that. Please listen to my question again. The introduction of personal data protection bill, does this bill in any manner, recognizes right to privacy as a fundamental right? Have you had occasion to go through it?
Yes, sir. It recognizes the right to privacy as a fundamental right because it will save the data, that is the personal data, non-personal data, sensitive data, and sir, many other things too. And sir, it also minimizes and localizes the data. But because there was the data was being abused by the many authorities and many people, like sir, there is a ban of the TikTok because the our personal data were going to the outside. And sir, it is recognizing the right to privacy as a fundamental right.
Okay. Okay. You must have heard about the term marital rape.
Yes, sir.
Very sensitive topic for all of us. And you tell me, is marital rape dealt differently for different communities in India, or it enjoys the same legal status?
So it is the same legal status to everyone.
All right. Tell me, is marital rape discriminatory for women, or is it same for all women?
So I don't know much about it, but
Let me rephrase and assist you because I want to know your understanding. The law against marital rape treats all women equally, or does it discriminate between two or three classes of women?
yes, sir. So the law treats every woman equally in the case of the marital rape.
Is it so, or does it make a distinction between a particular age group?
The age group should be the above the 18 or 21. It's whatever mentioned in the provision that.
Suppose in the provision it is mentioned 18 years, for hypothetically for discussion purpose, not being dead accurate. Take the example of 18 years. So am I right if I say that the law against marital rape protects women of 17 years of age, but not 19 years of age? Am I right?
Sir, the 17 years of age girl will be considered as a rape, not the marital rape.
Exactly. And if the same incidence happens, with a wife of 19 years of age, she will not get the protection of the law. Am I right?
She will get the protection of the law.
Will it be considered as marital rape?
Yes, sir. It will be considered as a marital rape if she will not consent to whatever a man demands.
I think you should refresh your facts. Okay, we will see. Okay.
I have to read the marital rape case. I have not.
Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Tell me another situation. If a particular Muslim who do you know it for a fact that a Muslim male is allowed to marry more than one woman?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
At a time. For marriage at a time.
All right. So there is, imagine a situation and you tell me your response. The situation is like this. Mr. A marries one woman B and another C. All right. B is of the age 15. C is of the age 20. Mr. A has forced himself upon B and C both.
Yes, sir.
If B and C together, not in the sense together, but B and C both litigate this matter, agitate this matter, file a complaint, which different laws will be applicable on Mr. A? A situation-based question.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you supplementary questions so that you can answer. Is it okay for Mr. A to marry a woman or a girl B who is yet not crossed 15 years of age? Is it permissible for him?
Sir, under the Muslim law, it is permissible that a man can marry a woman of 15 years of age.
All right. It does not violate any of the standard laws of this country.
Sir, but the standard law of the country is requires that the age of the woman must be the 18 years of age.
Okay, so first point is this, whether an action is called for against Mr. A on this ground or not. And the second is B, whatever he did with B will be classified as marital rape.
Yes, sir.
Because of the age of B. But what he did with C will not be classified as marital rape. Or will it? Think
Sir,
again. It will still be classified as marital rape.
Yes, sir, I want to think. Sir, in my opinion, what I am recalling right now, that both the case will be considered as a marital rape.
Acha, okay, that's all right. That's all right. Now tell me, what is constitutionalism?
Yes, sir. So, constitutionalism, a document which is governed by the authority. The constitution is a document or the laws which is governed by the authority, and so it includes the constitutional law and constitution.
Is it so? Okay. Okay, no problem. Last question. Last couple of questions. Is Supreme Court sometimes wrong in its decisions?
So I cannot say that Supreme Court is sometimes wrong in its decision, because they give that judgment of best of their abilities, and after after considering the facts and circumstances of the case, but they can overrule their judgment too, because the judgment is not binding upon them. Their judgment is not binding upon them.
All right. All right. Last question is, what has actually pulled you towards being a judge? In the service profile of the organization that you are aspiring to enter, what has charmed you the most about the job of a judge? If I can say job, it is not a job. It's a very respectable service, a respectable assignment. So what has charmed you most?
So the reputation and the respect charm the most to become a judge.
All right. All right. That will be all from my side. I'll request Vedanta to take over. And
After
we will get back again in the feedback session.
Yeah, Pridarshini, you are looking very nice. You are appearing in front of me. I'm as a judge dress. I must compliment your grace, your amazing beauty, and the way you are handling the interview. The last question the panelist has asked, you have answered judgment is not binding upon Supreme Court. Can you explain this?
Yes, sir. So Article 141 of the Indian Constitution Act state that the judgment is not, the Supreme Court judgment is not binding on the Supreme Court itself, but it is binding on the every court other than the Supreme Court.
A
And but
division judgment passed by the Supreme Court is binding on the division bench or not?
Yes, sir. It is binding on the.
Then you are not contradicting yourself. Then order of Supreme Court is not binding on the Supreme Court.
The order, no, sir. Order of the Supreme Court is binding on or binding on all court other than the Supreme Court. I have read this under Article 141, but sir,
Let me clarify a bit more.
yes, sir.
Suppose a division bench has passed a judgment
Yes, sir.
on a constitutional issue. One division bench is not agreeing to it. Then it has to refer to the larger bench. Yes? Meaning thereby a division bench is binding the judgment of other division bench. It's not true.
Sir, they are binding the other judgment.
Just check it again, beta. Just check it again. Okay?
Yes, sir. I have to read it.
I will select you. I will ask one question. If you answer, I will select you. Uniform Civil Code and Hindu law. Can you relate both together? Forget the Muslim law. Forget the Muslim issue. What is the problem of Uniform Civil Code with the Hindu society?
Sir, Hindu law also has the personal law, which is codified, and the Uniform Civil Code. The center brings the Uniform Civil Code to all the religion is to all the person irrespective of the religion, because it will simplify the.
As far I understand, the Hindu law has most of the issue accepted which are going to be proposed in the Uniform Civil Code.
Yes, sir.
Then also there is certain problem. Tell me.
So they are afraiding of because they have the different culture and different laws governed by the Hindus law. So they are also afraiding that if we will govern by the same code and same principle, then we will have to go the same procedure.
You are on the right track, but you are not at the place what answer I wanted.
So I need to study Uniform Civil Code more.
I don't want to use Uniform Civil. I just want to a correlation of Uniform Civil Code and the Hindu law. Let me help you a bit more.
Yes, sir.
The Northeast region, where there are the scheduled tribes, they have different customs and uses. If you apply the Uniform Civil Code over them, will they accept it?
So they have the different culture and usage and custom, then it will be difficult for them to adapt because they were
The same answer I wanted.
yes, sir. So
Because in Northeastern region, where there is a scheduled tribes, they have their own. That's why there is the Article 370 on onwards in the Constitution, that those are the tribes. They have their own custom and uses. Not only the Muslims, they may also have the reservation of the Uniform Civil Code. What is Mitakshara and the Daibhag school?
I have not gone through.
You don't know?
Yes, sir. Recently, I have not studied.
You also one question to me, which is emerging from the Constitution, which I'm asking the so many candidates, that there is an issue of basic structure of the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
Are you in agreement of the basic structure of the Constitution or not?
Yes, sir. I'm in the favor of the basic structure of the Constitution because there must be some provision in the Constitution
Then why it is being said it is not a good law? You must have heard this.
Sir,
Recently, Justice Gogoi has said it is not a good law. Why they have said this?
Sir, because in some cases, if we want to change something, but we are binding by the basic structure of the constitution, and we cannot. So that's why sometimes it is said to be it is not a good law.
You have answered to one of the questions, Swati, that you admire your father.
Yes, sir.
Give one quality of your father which you admire. Only one quality. I don't want more than one.
Yes, sir. Sir, he is very disciplined.
Are you also disciplined?
Yes, sir, I am.
Second quality.
So he is very honest.
How you can say that he's very honest? It is being said that advocates are not honest. You must have heard this.
Sir, as I stated that date, but Jasper sir corrected me that they defend their parties and not they do not lie. So, sir, I cannot say that
You
he's
can say it's a professional ethics which they have. To defend the client is the professional ethics. One demerit of your father. Everyone has the plus point, minus point.
yes, sir.
Any demerit of your father?
Yes, sir. He is very short tempered.
What is the disadvantage of being short tempered?
Sir, sometimes he doesn't listen to us and they scold us.
He has the blood pressure.
No, sir. He's fine. By the
Nice,
way.
Priyadarshini. You have given a very nice interview. Let's start the feedback. Swati.
Sir, I have also joined.
Acha, yes, Chitresh, come, Chitresh. Come.
Again, there will be some disturbance. Apologies in advance. Joining from the vehicle.
Yeah.
Good evening, Priyadarshini.
Good evening, sir.
Just 3-4 questions from my side. One is, you talked to Ojha sir about the reservations of Hindus regarding uniform civil code. Other than the culture, there is another issue where there might be some apprehension among the Hindus regarding uniform civil code. From where that can come?
So it is religious.
Not religious.
Sir, then I am not able to answer right now.
If I say it's economic, then
So I need to study.
can uniform civil code and HUF exist together?
Hindu undivided family, sir. Is it?
Yes.
So I need to study.
Okay. One more question, Priyadarshini. Suppose the government brings uniform civil code and someone files a petition or regarding the review of the same in Supreme Court. Then should Supreme Court entertain it or not?
Yes, sir. Supreme Court will entertain, but sir,
I am not asking they will entertain or not. Listen to the question. Should they entertain or not?
So sorry, sir. I'm unable to answer it.
It's your opinion. What do you think? In your opinion,
So I'm not getting the question properly.
suppose the parliament brings in uniform civil code, following all the due procedures and methodology. And then some XYZ is not happy and goes and files a petition in Supreme Court regarding the review of the same. Should that petition be entertained by Supreme Court or not?
Okay, sir. So in my opinion, that petition cannot be entertained because, sir,
Chitresh, you repeat your question.
yes, sir.
Sir,
You repeat your question again. I thought she has not got the question.
देखिए प्रियदर्शनी, मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ, मान लीजिए एक यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड सरकार ले आती है, हर तरह की कानूनी प्रक्रिया का उसमें वो पालन करती है, सब कुछ करती है। उसके बाद कोई किसी को वो पसंद नहीं आता है और जाके सुप्रीम कोर्ट में बोलता है कि नहीं साहब आप तो इसका रिव्यू करिए। तो क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट को ऐसी पिटीशन को महत्व देना चाहिए? क्या उसका रिव्यू करना चाहिए, नहीं करना चाहिए?
No, sir. In my opinion, the Supreme Court
Why?
should not entertain because, sir, as you mentioned that the center brings the and sir, Parliament are bringing the uniform civil code in a by by having the rules and regulation and by having the uh, uh, and so by seeing that the rules has been followed and the everything is right, then sir no one can in by the society can just go to the Supreme Court to object it.
Okay. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you very much, Priyadarshini.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, start, bro. Priyadarshini?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, नोट कर लो. Just we are starting the feedback session.
The first impression is this, that composer wise, you are perfectly fine. I did not find any problem with your composer, the way you respond, the fluctuations in your tonality, they also remain within the bounds. Your demeanor is also okay, acceptable, nothing wrong with on that account, no problems at all. What I noticed is a set of 3 or 4 points which you can work to improve upon. Number one, I do not appreciate somehow the subject to correction by my seniors and colleagues. I somehow don't think this is a very good strategy to tell the board that ये तो मैंने prelims के लिए पढ़ा था, अभी मैंने पढ़ा नहीं है. So it will not give you any leverage, beta. In fact, it can harm your case. So no point doing that. ठीक है? Simply say, sorry sir, I cannot recall right now, or I'm not able to answer as of now. That is a better answer. There is no need to justify your ignorance. Never do that. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you replay this session and you'll find that in response to the question of right to privacy, when I asked you, do you think that the Personal Data Protection Bill recognizes right to privacy as a fundamental right? You went on to give the details of the data protection bill, localization of data, personal data, this data, that's not necessary at all. Completely out of the track. So do not do that ever. Understand the question. The answer to this question can be in yes or no, because
Okay,
it's a
sir.
question of fact, not question of opinion. It's a question of fact. Does it do it? Yes, sir, it does. Then let me ask you, where does it do it? Then you tell, sir, I do not exactly remember, or this is the section as the case may be. जैसा तुम्हारा हो. It's a question of fact. Question of fact जिनकी शुरुआत what से हो, तो उनका पहले एक ब्रीफ सेंटेंस में आंसर दिया था, yes sir, if I understand correctly, ऐसा 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 है, and then stop. Don't elaborate. Question of opinion में you can mention 2 to 3 sentences. I will give you an inherent check, an inbuilt mechanism, so that you can exercise it in real time and get to know if you are speaking superfluously. And that is, do not speak for more than 3 to 4 sentences, whatever be the case. Don't do that. Initially, do not frame more than 3 to 4 sentences. If you have not sufficiently answered in that length, the likelihood is that you will not be able to answer howsoever much you elaborate upon it. सो सब्सटेंस को सबसे पहले रखना है. सबसे पहले आता है तो नहीं आता है तो हाथ जोड़ लेना है. नहीं भाई नहीं आता है, हाथ जोड़ लेना मतलब you have to just admit that I do not know, sir. And if you know it, do not stretch it beyond 2 to 3 sentences or 4 sentences as max. Okay, I think that makes more sense. Be concise, because I and respected Anuj sir, we both of us were discussing today as to sir was dedicated enough to be present in and around the board today to understand the feel of the board, what is going on there, and sir educated me about it. He told me that the average length is only 15 minutes. That is all there is interview. तो आपको बहुत ज़्यादा, my advice to you as well as to other beloved candidates is this: the shorter and the more concise your answer, the higher the chances of getting the questions of your choice be asked. इसलिए चालाकी थोड़ी करनी चाहिए आपको, बहुत लंबा चौड़ा नहीं. Unless you are supremely confident कि ये मेरा, this is the loose delivery on which I am able to hit, then you extend the length to 5 to 6 sentences, not more than that. उसके बाद रुक जाना है, let them pose counter questions. और मैं हमेशा ये क्यों आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट करता रहता हूं कि आप कभी वो चीज ना बोलिए जो नहीं पूछा गया है, क्योंकि let it be the subject matter of the next question. Don't answer it when it is not asked. Save it so that when it is asked, then you answer it. Why? Because there is a psychology. As a mock panelist, I have also learned this through the way of my experience, that ultimately the panel will not remember each and every question, whether it was answered or not, or how good it was answered or not. It's not possible for human beings. What ultimately guides them or influences their decision is this: after the interview is over, what hangover or impression they had. Did they feel good about it? Did they feel engaged in conversation? Were you able to engage also in for sufficiently long time? Did your personality feel awkward or was it pleasant or acceptable? Ultimately हमको लगता है कि ऐसे ही होता होगा वहां पे, कि बस ओवरऑल एक हैंगओवर जो छूटता है, इंप्रेशन, लास्ट इंप्रेशन, जो टेस्ट छूट जाता है मुंह में, जैसे कहते हैं ना खाने के बाद, that is what decides कि हाँ ठीक है, लगता है. I do not know the process, so I will not comment upon that. I do not know the mechanics of the process, but it seems to be a reasonable conjecture कि ऐसा ही कुछ होता होगा. So my advice, that's why my advice is increase the number of questions that may be asked, especially when you are not sure about the questions which are coming. तब ज्यादा उनको खींचो मत. Sir, if you permit me, I would like to guess. No, nothing, no guess. Sorry sir, I don't recall this either. कुछ सॉरी बोलने में कोई शर्म नहीं, चाहे लगातार 10 बार बोलना पड़े. That's my advice. कोई टेंशन नहीं है. फिर 2-4 क्वेश्चन ऐसे आएंगे, या फिर वो आपसे बोल देंगे, जैसे कि सब लोगों ने बोला भी कि अच्छा बेटा आप ही बताओ क्या है आपका कंफर्ट जोन, हम आपसे वो पूछ लेते हैं. And then that is okay. You can say very respectfully कि sir, I believe that I will be able to answer questions from this topic. इतना ही बस बोलना है कि I am more comfortable, ये सब नहीं बोलना. I believe that I should be able to answer if asked from this topic. ऐसा करके ये आप बोल सकते हो. So that's another point. Do not increase the length of your answer. Never ever. That's a strict no. And then I was also not very satisfied somehow about your answer to what attracted you most about a judge's profile. ठीक है, बात तो सही है. Respect to reputation, so that is there, absolutely there. But what actually we are looking at as a panelist, suppose we are the panelists which are entrusted with the responsibility of choosing the best candidates for that service, then what the service gives to you will be the last of the parameters on which we will judge you. What you can offer to the service, actually सिर्फ आपको, मुझे लगता है, मेरा I'll be corrected by my seniors, I think the opportunity to make a difference अभी भी, चाहे जितना आइडियलिस्ट सेंटेंस लगता हो, लेकिन बड़े बुजुर्गों को अभी भी यही अपील करता है कि हमारी जो यंग जनरेशन है वो आज भी तड़प रही है इस चीज के लिए कि एक मौका दो, हमको सैलरी आधा भी दोगे तो भी काम करेंगे. अपने परिवार को पालने के लिए हम रात में ट्यूशन पढ़ा देंगे, अगर हमें पैसा कम पड़ेगा, हमें सैलरी कम दे दो, काट लो हमारा, लेकिन हम मेहनत करने को तैयार हैं. अपना आई वांट टू पुट माय कंट्रीब्यूशन इन, आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड ओनली इन सैलरी. तो इसलिए जॉब सिक्योरिटी और ये सब, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं I don't rate myself as a good example, लेकिन ये बात सही है, मैं फीलिंग्स की बात खाली बता रहा हूँ कि अगर अभी ये कह दिया जाए कि तुम्हें सैलरी नहीं देंगे, तभी I want to be a part of the civil services and I'll work harder in the evening hours, take some commercial classes or coaching something, because I want to be a part of this system to be able to handle that opportunity that it gives. It is about opportunities that we want. ठीक है, सारा गेम इस चीज का है कि हमको अपॉर्चुनिटी चाहिए, लेकिन this is not the only thing. Okay, this emotional story may not run with everybody. So what I am saying कि हाँ, वो दोनों बात बोलनी है कि हम इस सर्विस से क्या चाहते हैं और ये सर्विस को हम क्या दे सकते हैं. लेकिन हमारा मानना है कि पहले वो बोलो कि तुम सर्विस को क्या देना चाह रहे हो. क्या तुम्हें एजिटेट करता है, जो परेशान करता है कि नहीं इसमें हमको होना चाहिए, है तो वही रेपुटेशन रिस्पेक्ट ही, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट्स नॉट द बेस्ट थिंग टू से। सच तो वही है, लेकिन कपड़ा लत्ता पहना के उस सच को भेजना है, नंगा नहीं भेज देना है। दैट्स माय पॉइंट, यू अंडरस्टैंड माय पॉइंट? तो आप बोलिए कि सर दिस ऑफर्स एन इमेंस अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ सर्विंग द सोसाइटी। देखो जंगल को, और मैं इतने दिन से जुड़ा हुआ हूं और सीख रहा हूं आप लोगों से, लेकिन मुझे अभी भी वो एक बढ़िया राइट आंसर नहीं मिला किसी से अनफॉर्चुनेटली, कि काहे जज बनना चाहते हैं। तो देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन बीइंग अ लिटिल बिट फिलोसॉफिकली स्ट्रांग, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन इट। आप क्यों नहीं बोलते हैं कि यही बगल में यहाँ पर डांग फॉरेस्ट है, उस फॉरेस्ट में, उस जंगल में और इस ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट में जो एक फर्क है वो जस्टिस का ही है। इफ यू सी, जस्टिस का फर्क है भाई। आप समझिए कि कितने बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज का हिस्सा आप होने के लिए एस्पायर कर रहे हैं। लॉ, रूल ऑफ लॉ का डिफरेंस है भाई। यहां पर बड़ा आदमी छोटे को नहीं खा सकता, ऐसे कानून है उसके लिए। तो उस इंपॉर्टेंट डिस्टिंक्शन का आप हिस्सा बनने जा रहे हैं, एंड इट डज नॉट कम इन एनी ऑफ योर आंसर्स टेंजेंशियली और डायरेक्टली। तो ये आपके लिए नहीं है, ऑफ कोर्स मैं कलेक्टिवली सब।
हमें मतलब बेस्ट आंसर इस चीज का क्या देना चाहिए, बिकॉज सर आई हैव नॉट
अगर
फाउंड
आप
एनी
अपनी
आंसर।
जगह पर हम बैठा दें, सपोज यू आर माई पैनलिस्ट एंड यू वांट टू सेलेक्ट मी एज अ जज, तो और उस ऐसे कोर्ट के लिए आप मुझे सेलेक्ट करना चाहते हैं जहां, गॉड फॉरबिड, किसी अपने आपके किसी जानने वाले लड़की के हैरेसमेंट का केस चल रहा है, किस तरह का जज आप चाहोगे? बस वही क्वालिटीज होनी चाहिए और वही आपको एस्पायर करना चाहिए। अंडरस्टैंड माई पॉइंट? आप जो मुझे जज बनाना चाहोगे, वहां बैठाओगे, कैसे आदमी को बैठाना चाहोगे? उसके मन में क्या हो, उसके मन में क्या होना चाहिए? उसके मन में होना चाहिए सिर्फ एक चीज, कि गलत नहीं होने देंगे, जहां तक हमारा बस है गलत नहीं होने देंगे, कोशिश करेंगे कि न्याय मिल जाए। दैट इज द ओनली थिंग दैट शुड चार्म अवर यूथ, दैट इज माई ओपिनियन। लेकिन हाँ, सही बात है, आई एम ऑल्सो वेरी प्री मेच्योर, जो मेच्योरिटी लेवल में मैं भी कोई बहुत ज्यादा नहीं हूँ, तो बहुत आइडियलिस्टिक नहीं होना चाहिए। मैंने अपने सीनियर से सीखा है, मैम से, सर से, सब लोगों से। लेकिन इसको प्रैक्टिकल बना लीजिए, लेकिन दिस फंडामेंटल थ्रेड हैज टू बी देयर। आई स्टिल बिलीव समहाउ, आई एम नॉट एबल टू कन्विंस माई सेल्फ कि इसको कंप्लीटली छोड़ दिया जाए फॉर द सेक ऑफ प्रैक्टिकल आंसर्स। है तो ये अपील अभी भी बूढ़ों, हमारे जैसे बूढ़ों को यही अपील करता है कि बच्चा एकदम जो है वो कुछ भी करने को तैयार है, कि करेगा जो कर पाएगा, जितने दिन रह पाएगा ईमानदार रहेगा। सबको मालूम है, लेकिन जितना ये स्ट्रगल करेगा, ये बच्चा स्ट्रगल करेगा कि हमको सही करना है, कम से कम अभी उसमें वो बीज है। बाकी जो सिस्टम आदमी के साथ करता है वो तो सबको मालूम है, कुछ लोग गिव इन कर जाते हैं, कुछ लोग बड़े रहते हैं। लेकिन अभी इंटरव्यू कैंडिडेट में तो होना चाहिए ना वो फायर, आगे चाहे जो हो। So I think if I was the panelist, I would have looked for this quality, and that will be all from my side.
Thank you, sir.
प्रियदर्शनी,
Yes, sir.
भैया आपका पोस्चर जैसा बढ़िया, आप फ्रस्ट्रेट भी बहुत नहीं थी, और लेकिन एक बात बेटा आप ये जरूर जान लो कि कुछ क्वेश्चन ऐसे होते हैं जिसका आंसर जरूर है, वहां पे सारी सब कह के काम नहीं चलती। वो एकदम बिल्कुल एयर की तरह हर जगह जो है हमारे में है, बस आप उसको किसी तरह से बाहर लाना है उसको, और थोड़ी देर के लिए आप वो जो मोमेंट लेती हैं इतने में ही आप ठीक कर लीजिए ना। इतने सारे क्लू देने के बाद आप आखिर में आंसर दी ना। कुछ बड़े फेमस डायलॉग्स भी होते हैं, अब्राहम लिंकन का इस पे डेमोक्रेसी पे वो था, कभी ना कभी आपने सुना जरूर होगा। तो क्या है कि आप डिस्टिंग्विश करिए, जो पूछा जा रहा है उसको समझने की कोशिश करिए। और जहां पे कोई चीज पूछी जा रही है कि जैसे पॉल्यूटर्स पे, तो ये क्या है ना कि ये टर्म जो यूज हो रहा है यही बहुत कुछ मीनिंग बता दे रहा है। तो आप वहीं से स्टार्ट करिए कि जो पॉल्यूशन फैलाएगा उसको पे करना पड़ेगा। इट इज टू फाउंडेड बाई अनरेबल सुप्रीम। आप एकदम सटीक सधे हुए शब्दों में बोलिए तो आपको नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वहीं से निकलेगा। फिर आप बोलिए एक साथ सारी बातें। कई जगह आपकी ये भी वो दिख रही है मतलब जल्दीबाजी की, हम ये भी बता दें वो भी बता दें, ऐसा ना करो। अभी आपके पास टाइम पढ़ने का नहीं है, तो मेरी आपको सजेशन है कि जितने क्वेश्चन दिमाग में आ सकते हैं उसका आंसर आप खुद भी अपने माइंड में शीशे के सामने जैसे भी करके एक स्टेप बाय स्टेप उसको देने की कोशिश। तो ये तो एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल है फालूटस पे का। वैसे ही कॉमन इंटेंशन, सेम इंटेंशन हो सकता। क्वेश्चन बहुत बढ़िया आपने जवाब दिया, अच्छा था। लेकिन आप बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस में जहां पे सारी कह रही हैं वहां जरूरत नहीं है। अभी लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे जो पूछा गया कि पार्लियामेंट ने अपनी पूरी इंटेलिजेंस लगा के सारी लॉ को फॉलो करके सारे एथिक्स को फॉलो करके कानून बना दिया। आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कोई बंदा चला आया, जैसे आप इसको रिव्यू करना है। तो देखो दो बातें, अब रिव्यू वर्ड किस लिए आया आपको सोचना है। पार्लियामेंट ने यदि कोई कानून बनाया है तो भी वो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिक्लेयर किया जा सकता है अंडर सुप्रीम कोर्ट से, ठीक है। लेकिन ये वर्ड रिव्यू आया तो रिव्यू कोर्ट अपने ऑर्डर का तो कर नहीं रही है, और लेजिस्लेशन को पार्लियामेंट को वो वापस तो करेगी नहीं कि आप इस पे रिव्यू करिए। ओके, तो अब वो मेंटेनेबिलिटी पे पूछा जा रहा है, तो आप वहां पे कुछ अपना अपना वहां पे व्यू रखिए। आप सीधे यस और नो में आप क्वेश्चन को भी, आप यदि पूछने वाला भी ऐसा पूछ रहा है कि वो कहीं थोड़ा सा उसमें उसके डबल मीनिंग निकल सकते हैं, तो आप दोनों चीजों को लेके चलिए, है ना। तो आप एकदम स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड उसमें आंसर नहीं दे सकते। आपको ला पता है, आपको आर्टिकल 13 आप बता रही हैं, जुडिशियल रिव्यू बता रही हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ये करती है। अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट का स्टे डिसाइसिस का ये है कि जो 141 आप बता रही हैं, 141 में कि जो लिखा हुआ है वो तो आपने बताया नहीं। 141 का स्पिरिट केवल ये है कि ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो भी ऑर्डर करेगी उसको सारी अथॉरिटी पर्सन सबको फॉलो करना पड़ेगा। अब खुद नहीं बधी हुई है सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ये उसमें नहीं लिखा हुआ है। तो ये एक जुडिशियल उसमें प्रिंसिपल है, जिसको स्टे डिसाइसिस कहते हैं, जिसमें हायरकी ऑफ कोर्ट है, हायरकी ऑफ बेंचेज है। तो ये बेसिक चीजें हैं, तो आप थिंक करो, पता है। दूसरी बात ये है कि यदि आप का इंटरव्यू इंग्लिश में चल रहा और आपको लग रहा है कि आप उसमें कंफर्ट नहीं है, तो कोर्ट से परमिशन ले लीजिए। तमाम इंग्लिश मीडियम के बच्चे वहां पे मिक्स लैंग्वेज में दे रहे हैं इंटरव्यू, और पिछले इंटरव्यूज में भी और उन्होंने अच्छा स्कोर किया है, मेरी इंडिविजुअल नॉलेज में है। तो आपको आप देखिए, इंटरव्यू में एक्सप्रेशन बढ़िया आना है। किसी भी तरह लैंग्वेज वहां बाधा नहीं है। आप अंग्रेजी में एग्जाम दे के पास हुई हैं, अंग्रेजी कर ले जाएंगे, कोर्ट में भी कर ले जाएंगे, और समय के साथ वो भी मैच्योरिटी आ जाएगी। तो आप अपने में ऑनेस्ट बनिए, और उन सवालों को मत छोड़िए जिनको नहीं छोड़ा जा सकता। आपसे जैसे कोई पूछे आपका नाम क्या है, तो आपको बताना ही है, तो उसी तरह कुछ फैक्ट्स होते हैं जहाँ पे बताना ही। तो
जसवाल जी आगे
जरूर।
बढ़ते हैं। जसवाल जी पहले सौर को फिनिश करने
हाँ
दीजिए।
ठीक।
चल फिनिश हो क्या? यस सर।
नहीं, सॉरी सर, कंप्लीट कर चुके थे ना सर, तो इसीलिए
स्वाति आ
मैं।
जाओ आप। स्वाति।
हाँ प्रियदर्शनी, best wishes to you. You are doing fine. You are confident. Your face, this looking at the panelists and all is perfect. I will repeat only what Shaurya said. One thing, that if you don't know, you pass it on.
Okay.
Because आप क्या कर रहे हो, आप टाइम भी ले रहे हो, फिर आप आंसर नहीं कर पा रहे। बट जो अभी सर बोल रहे थे, उन्होंने जो बोला जायसवाल सर ने, कि आपका अगर नहीं आता है, कुछ क्वेश्चंस में ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आपको नहीं आता। जैसे डेमोक्रेसी पे आपको नहीं आता, आपका आइडियल कौन है ये नहीं आता, ये इसमें मत झिझको, ठीक है। और जो ये अभी आपको क्वेश्चन कि आप क्यों बनना चाहते हैं, आई अग्री विथ योर दैट इट हैज टू बी एन आइडियलिस्टिक आंसर। लेटर पार्ट आप कह सकते हो, रिस्पेक्ट वाला जो आपने बोला, बट फर्स्ट हैज टू बी। अगर कुछ और नहीं आता तो बोलो कि सर एक कहावत है अंग्रेजी की, डू अनटू अदर्स एज यू वांट अदर्स टू डू अनटू यू, कि हम फेयरनेस और इम्पार्शियलिटी को रखना चाहते हैं सबसे ज्यादा। हम एज अ गर्ल यू कैन टॉक अबाउट जेंडर इक्वालिटी, नथिंग एल्स, एंड ऑल द अदर क्वेश्चंस विल गो इनटू जेंडर if you are confident on that, because other than that your demeanor is perfect. आपको डिमीनर पे, आपके लुक्स पे कोई कुछ क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकता, पर आपके कुछ बेसिक वाले पे आपको नहीं हिचकना है, ये मेरा सोचना है। अगर आप इसको मास्टर कर लो ना, एंड वो आपको आप थोड़ा भी सोचोगे आधा घंटा भी आपको आ जाएगा। और अगर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आता लॉ पे जो आपसे पूछ रहे नहीं आता, आगे बढ़ जाओ, क्योंकि बहुत लंबा इंटरव्यू चलता नहीं है। तो आपके वो क्वेश्चन तो लाओ जहां पे आप, जिस पे आपका स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट है, ठीक है। और आप अच्छा करोगे, आपका जरूर होगा। ऑल द बेस्ट।
थैंक यू सो मच।
प्रियदर्शनी, ये जो सवाल है, आप जज क्यों बनना चाहते हो? हम लोग रोज इस सवाल को कर रहे हैं। इफ यू सी फर्स्ट सेकेंड ईयर ऑफ इंटरव्यू वही हुआ है। 4-5 पॉइंट कहा गया है कि उसी पे आप कंसंट्रेट करो। नौकरी हमको अपॉर्चुनिटी देती है, नौकरी हमको कहते हैं समाज में एक प्रतिष्ठा देती है, नौकरी से हमको नए अवसर मिलते हैं, हमको सीखने को मिलता है, हमारा कहते हैं दिमाग शार्प होता है, हमको नई नई चीजें पता लगती है, सामाजिक संदर्भिता होती है, वी वर्क फॉर द सोसाइटी, हम जस्टिस डिलीवर कर सकते हैं। बीइंग अ वुमेन आई वांट टू चेंज द सोसाइटी। बीइंग अ वुमेन फ्रॉम स्मॉल, आप बदायूं की हो, बीइंग अ वुमेन स्मॉल टाउन गर्ल, आई वांट टू चेंज द सोसाइटी। आई एम सर्चिंग फॉर एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, आई एम गेटिंग हियर। बहुत अच्छी लाइन है। आप बोलो ना कि सर आई एम सर्चिंग फॉर अपॉर्चुनिटी, आई वांट टू गेट सर्टेन चेंजेस, दिस जॉब इज गिविंग मी अपॉर्चुनिटी। आप बल्कि इसको आप सबसे स्टार्टिंग में स्टार्ट करो कि सर बीइंग स्मॉल टाउन गर्ल, बीइंग ए सेंसिटिव गर्ल, आई एम सर्चिंग फॉर एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू चेंज इन द सोसाइटी, दिस जॉब इज गिविंग मी अपॉर्चुनिटी, एंड देयर इज नथिंग मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द जस्टिस।
यस सर।
इतने अच्छे अच्छे आंसर आए, आपने क्यों नहीं लिखा उसको? दूसरा बेटा क्या है, शॉर्टर और कंसाइज आंसर दो। आप बिल्कुल ज्यादा बोलने की कोशिश मत करो, एकदम शॉर्ट और कंसाइज। आप थोड़ा सवाल को ठीक से समझो। इंटरव्यू कभी किसी सवाल के आंसर से मार्क्स देता, परसेप्शन से देता है। एक परसेप्शन अच्छा होल्ड हो जाए, उसको आप कैरी फॉरवर्ड करो, सिलेक्शन हो गया। आपने 10 सवाल का आंसर दिया, मतलब 10 सवाल पूछा गया, 5 का आंसर दिया, 6 का दिया, उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। एक जो परसेप्शन बना लिया, वो परसेप्शन आप बना के रखो।
ओके सर।
और जो अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहा है, कोई भी सर्विस हो, IRS हो, IAS हो, जुडिशरी हो, कोई सर्विस, पुलिस हो, पॉलिटिक्स हो, कोई सर्विस हो, कोई जॉब हो, जो अपॉर्चुनिटी देता है डिफरेंस करने का, वो बहुत बड़ी चीज होती है। एक जो सवाल आप दिया कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन नॉट इंटरटेन रिट, बेटा रॉन्ग आंसर था ये। आप आर्टिकल 13 पढ़ो ना, इन जुडिशियल रिव्यू को आपने डिस्कार्ड कर दिया। Any a law passed by the parliament, how good it is, how perfect it is, the court has competence to examine it.
ओके सर।
There is no point, ये डिस्कशन का पॉइंट ही नहीं है कि पार्लियामेंट ने चाहे जितना अच्छा किया हो, कोर्ट तो कर ही सकती है। बाकी आपका सब अच्छा रहा है। आई एग्री विद द शौर्य एंड स्वाति. Swati has told a lot of good words about you. I also agree with Swati. I think you are doing well. Good. Sambhavi, you come बेटा.
सर 2-3 बातें बता दूं?
हाँ बोलो बोलो बोलो.
प्रियदर्शनी, एक तो आप क्या वर्ड यूज कर रही थी? दे आर अफ्रेडिंग. देयर इज नो सच वर्ड एज अफ्रेडिंग.
Right. Yes, wrong English. Yes. Right. Yes. मैंने नोट किया है. Afraiding of, afraid of होता है, not afraiding of.
अफ्रेड ऑफ.
हाँ, yes.
अफ्रेडिंग कोई वर्ड नहीं है.
तुमने इसको 2-3 बार यूज किया, अफ्रेडिंग ऑफ. मैंने नोट भी किया था इसको. अच्छा किया जितने साल बोल दिया. Yes.
सर, आपको वो पकड़ना चाहिए था, हिंदू अनडिवाइडेड फैमिली वाला, क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा एक टैक्सेशन का जो इशू है, हिंदू अनडिवाइडेड फैमिली में कई तरह की रिबेट्स मिलती हैं. वो इकोनॉमिक एंगल जब मैंने बोल दिया था, आपको हिंट भी मिल गया था, यू शुड हैव गॉट इट. चलो कोई बात नहीं. और दूसरा जो क्वेश्चन था ना कि आपको क्या लगता है, उसे सर ने आपको ऑलरेडी बता दिया कि रिव्यू तो करना ही पड़ेगा. आपको अगर उसमें थोड़ा और डिटेल में जाना चाहती हैं तो आप उसमें सिर्फ ये बोल सकती हैं कि सर रिव्यू तो बिल्कुल कर सकता है और उनको करना भी चाहिए, बट उनको सिर्फ प्रोसीजर को रिव्यू करना चाहिए अंदर, क्योंकि बाकी जो लॉ बनाना है वो तो पार्लियामेंट का प्रेरोगेशन है ना.
चित्रेश, I want to
मैं आपको क्वेश्चन में
चित्रेश, they can do everything. They can go content also.
नहीं सर, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, वो ठीक है सर, वो मैं तो ये कह रहा, वो एक्चुअली जो उसमें मैंने क्वेश्चन में पेज फंसाया था कि पूरा प्रोसेस फॉलो किया है, सब कुछ किया है, वो इसीलिए किया था कि ये वो बोले कि नहीं करना चाहिए। तो
Sir,
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि उसको आपको देखना है। दूसरा, जो शौर्य सर ने भी आपको, हाँ बोलो 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 प्रियदर्शनी, कुछ कहना चाह रही हो, बोलो।
सर यही कि अभी ना उतना यूसीसी के बारे में और एक दो चीज बारे के मैं पढ़ा नहीं है, अभी आज देख लूंगी उसको एक बार।
बेटा क्वेश्चन
या
देखो, सुनो
प्रियदर्शनी,
बच्चे,
ऐसा करो,
क्वेश्चन
आप पिछले
यूसीसी पे
आप
नहीं
जो
था।
रिकॉर्डिंग देखो, यूसीसी डिस्कस हुआ है।
सर
सर
जो
नहीं नहीं
यूसीसी
सर,
का
वैसे भी
क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है, जैसा कि चित्रेश भाई कह
ये यूसीसी का क्वेश्चन ही नहीं।
रहे, जुडिशरी कर सकती
हाँ,
नहीं कर सकती, इट इज अबाउट दैट।
क्वेश्चन ये है, क्वेश्चन यूसीसी का नहीं है। बेसिकली आप एक चीज समझो कि कई बार ऐसा होता है इंटरव्यू में, इंटरव्यूअर जानबूझ करके आपको किसी हीटेड टॉपिक की ओर को ले जाता है जिसपे मीडिया में बहुत ज्यादा डिबेट चल रही होती है, और उसकी कहानी सुना करके उसके बगल वाले का एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछ लेता है जो एक्चुअली उस डिबेट से रिलेटेड नहीं होता है, जो किसी और फैक्ट से रिलेटेड होता है। वहां पे आपको उस डिबेट में बह नहीं जाना है, बस इस चीज का ध्यान रखना है। और शौर्य सर आपको बहुत अच्छी चीज बता चुके हैं बेटा शुरू में ही। मैं भी ये बात बार बार बच्चों को बोलता हूं कि जब आप किसी चीज के दो अच्छे आंसर दे सकते हो तो उन्हें मिक्स करके एक खराब आंसर मत बनाओ। एक अच्छा आंसर दिया, रुक जाओ, दूसरा क्वेश्चन आने दो, उसका भी अच्छा आंसर दो। दो अच्छे आंसर का मिला करके आप कई बार एक खराब आंसर बना देते हो, तो उस हैबिट को हमें अवॉइड करना चाहिए। ठीक है, बस जैसे मैं आपको बोल रहा हूं कि जल्दी रुक जाना चाहिए, वैसे ही अब मैं भी रुक जाता हूं। ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट, आप अच्छा कर रहे हो। ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट। आपसे हम पहले भी मिल चुके हैं, ये आपका इंप्रूव हुआ है पिछली बार से इस बार।
सर दैट डे आई क्राइड अ लॉट।
अच्छा, कोई बात नहीं। रोने की जरूरत नहीं है। अभी जब एग्जाम का रिजल्ट आएगा तब आप बहुत खुश होगे। हम सब लोग से एड्रेस भी मांगोगे मिठाई का डब्बा भिजवाने के लिए।
सो होप सो।
चलो, ऑल द
या
वेरी बेस्ट, ऑल द
या
वेरी बेस्ट।
शांभवी, प्लीज कम। शांभवी,
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
या स्वाति, स्टार्ट।
गुड इवनिंग शांभवी। शांभवी, आपका नाम बहुत सुंदर है, आप भी बहुत सुंदर हो। व्हाट डज योर नेम मीन?
Ma'am, it is one of the names of Lourdes Durga, and it means beloved of Lord Shiva.
सो चलिए, आप तो दुर्गा का ही नाम से शुरू हो रहा है, तो बताइए, डू यू बिलीव देयर शुड बी अ जुडिशरी? इज देयर अ नीड फॉर जुडिशरी?
Of course, ma'am,
हाँ,
because ma'am, judiciary plays a very important role in interpreting the constitution and all the acts of legislature and executive actions. And ma'am, for that reason, judiciary is very
that
important.
there's a legislature and an executive also. So with this separation of powers, why do we then say that they are also judge? And when there is a legislature which makes laws, I believe, so then why do we say that they're also judge-made laws?
Um, uh, Basically, ma'am, it is only a saying because judges do not make law. Their main function is to interpret the laws, and whether they are in whether they have to check that whether or not it is inconsistent with the constitutional provisions. And in that process, if they give certain principles, then that principles are often said to be as law, judges made law.
Okay. So do you have the qualities? Do you believe you have qualities to become a good judge?
Yes, ma'am, I feel so.
What are the qualities that you think you have that will prove to us that you're a good judge?
First of all, the judge should be a good listener, and also, ma'am, that a judge should have a legal acumen. It means that not only they should understand the law, but also how to apply those law to present situations. Ma'am, that I feel that I have. And other thing is that. Ma'am, they should be patient because in courtroom, often, ma'am, there are certain circumstances when patience is tested, I feel so that I'm patient enough.
You're patient now. Okay. Acha, do you believe that society has stereotypes, that we follow stereotypes?
Yes, ma'am.
So does judiciary also suffer from this failing of following stereotypes?
Yes, ma'am. In that context, I would say that recently a certain handbook has been released regarding terms of stereotypes, and for that reason, I can say that in judiciary also there has been stereotypes.
So with this handbook now, you think there'll be a change, or has the change already come in the judicial fora?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I feel so. Uh, Change has already begun, but with the coming of this handbook, it will the situation will improve.
In what way? Will the mindset change?
Ma'am, it cannot be said that mindset would change in a day. That handbook has come and mindset would change, but it will take a gradual process, and in that process, with the passing of time, it will change.
Okay. So tell me something. Now that you're saying passing of time, it will change. There's a Hindu Succession Act in which
Yes.
women have now been granted many rights which were not available to them earlier. So you
Yes,
think
ma'am.
society has accepted those changes? Are we seeing a practical application of the amendment in the Hindu Succession Act? In
Ma'am,
favor?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in urban societies, ma'am, I feel that those changes has been accepted. But ma'am, I'm not sure about the rural areas yet.
Even in urban, you think it's accepted? You mean to say in a family of two boys and two sisters, two brothers, two sisters, and the father wants to give his more than half his property to his daughter, a married daughter. The brothers will not object; they are accepting it.
Yes, ma'am. It can be said that it is a thing of mindset, because in girls' mind also it is ingrained that if they get married, they'll go to other family, and they do not have rights in their father's property. That needs to
That's
be
what I'm
changed
saying.
first.
So, are these laws that are being brought about, in fact, for the betterment of whichever class of persons, in this case, women, are they being accepted? And not by just the men, like you just gave me an example that even the woman would not accept it that fast. So, with this handbook that you're saying, you think it will help in similar mindset change?
If we
My question to you is: should judiciary be doing this? Is it its work?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, sorry, I'm not able to understand the question. What judiciary should be doing?
Trying to transform the minds of society.
Yes, ma'am. Judiciary.
Laws or this handbook.
Yes, ma'am. Judiciary has a very important role in that.
Okay, good. I like your answer. Now tell me something. Do you know what a constitution bench is?
Constitution benches. Yes, ma'am.
Is a constitution bench?
Ma'am, where judges are 5 or more in number, that is called constitution bench.
You know there's a constitution bench which has started hearing recently regarding the Article 370 that has been abrogated.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So are you following it?
Yes, ma'am, to a certain extent.
Okay, so what did Article 370 abrogation did in what happened in 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is this all about and before the Supreme Court?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Article 370, it mentioned about the temporary status of the Jammu and Kashmir, and it granted special status to that Jammu and Kashmir region, and that special status could only be removed if through a president order, only if the constituent assembly of Jammu and Kashmir it consents to that. But since the constituent assembly has not been in existence, and in 2019 legislative assembly was there, So, ma'am, but the time when the president order came that it should be abrogated, the state was under president control because state emergency.
Okay, I got it. What you're trying to say. Good. Acha, just tell me, you know what writs are? Writ
Yes,
petitions? Huh?
yes,
Are they important for the citizens of the country?
yes, ma'am. They are of utmost important.
Okay. So, is CPC applicable to writs?
Yes, ma'am. Except no. CPC is not applicable to writs, but res judicata is applicable to writs, except for habeas corpus.
Okay. Okay. Chalo. All the best.
Thank you.
Do well.
Thank you, ma'am.
जायसवाल जी आप लेंगे, अनुज जी आप
let
Sir,
sorry.
sir, should I start or Jaiswal sir should?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sir, okay. Shambhavi, what is the literal meaning of your name? And I'm not asking what it refers to. What is the literal meaning of your name?
Sir, I believe, sir, as far as I know, it consists of two words. One is another name of Lord Shiva, and it would mean beloved of Lord Shiva, sir. Sir, as far as I know.
Okay. Can a judge, while acting in his or her judicial capacity, cause contempt of court?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall a very good answer right now.
You mentioned about habeas corpus. There is a case also in the same name, very famous case, ADM Jabalpur. Why that particular case has almost always been in limelight?
Yes, sir. So, one of the most important legal development which took after that case was that Article 20 and Article 21, it was excluded that if emergency is proclaimed, then Article 20 and Article 21 would not be immediately suspended.
All right. Do you think international law is a law? Should it be called a law?
Sir, I can only think from point of view of Austin's definition. So,
All right.
So, yes, sir. So, he said that Austin has said that law would mean a certain set of rules which come from a politically superior person and should have a sanction behind it. But yes, sir. But sir, international law, sir, it do not comes from a certain particular political superior individual. Neither does it have any sanction. So, in my opinion, sir, in context of this,
the command of the sovereign, perhaps, isn't it?
Yes.
It
Yes,
neither
sir,
has command of the sovereign nor has a sanction behind it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, if either of these ingredients, which are essential for something to be law, are absent, then your final verdict is that it should not be considered as law. Is that what I should take from here?
No, sir.
That's not what you meant. Although these
Yes,
ingredients are missing, but still it has the effect of law, perhaps. You wanted to
Yes,
say that.
sir.
Because
Yes,
nations
sir.
honor it. It has
Yes,
a
sir.
kind of persuasive impact and all. That's what you want. And they're agitated in the manner law is agitated. That's how
Yes,
they are.
sir.
Is there any body, any particular institution that actually decides the cases based on international law?
International Court of Justice.
All right. Has it had a fair representation from India in terms of its appointees?
Yes, sir. So, but I'm not able to recall the judge's name right now.
Okay, that's all right. Tell me, when very often while discussing different provisions and laws, we say that so and so authority or so and so body has the powers of civil code. Powers of civil code. What do we imply by that? Powers of a civil code.
Powers of civil code would imply that the particular court has the power to call any witness, to enforce his attendance, and can issue commissions, can take evidence on oath, and can uh, ask for requisition of documents. These all powers.
Can it also acquire evidence on affidavit?
Yes, sir.
If the court has the powers to issue summons and enforce the attendance of a witness, why in the world would it require to issue commissions?
Yes, sir. So commissions are issued basically when, for example, so a certain person, he's leaving the jurisdiction of the court, or he's not present, that he can come answer the summon. In that case, commissions can be issued.
Do you believe that a court can enforce its summons only within its territorial jurisdiction? Is it so? The witness has to be in the territorial jurisdiction? Only
No,
then
sir.
can be issued, or summons
No.
have to be complied even if the someone is from a court which is out of jurisdiction?
Yes, sir. So summons, even if it is out of jurisdiction, it can be complied.
If that is permissible, then why commissions?
So basically, to the areas, for matter of convenience, I would say, sir, the commissions are issued.
All right. Do you think Supreme Court also is wrong sometimes in their decision?
So, so if they can be incorrect, but if they feel that in present situation, suppose they have given a judgment and later on,
I think I already had my answer, isn't it? When you said they can be incorrect, that sufficiently answered my question. Okay. Is there any legal protection available to transgenders in India?
So so legislation has passed a certain act regarding transgender people's right in 2019, sir, I believe. I'm not sure.
That's all right. That's perfectly all right. Tell me, what if there's a same-sex couple and an incidence of domestic violence happens? Would the victim in that couple be entitled for administration of justice under the Domestic Violence Act?
Yes, sir. So at present situation, so Domestic Violence Act, it is gender specific. Means it talks about women who's the aggrieved woman. The aggrieved person who is defined in the Domestic Violence Act. It says that that person should be a woman.
All right.
So,
well, I understood your import. That's fine. Tell me, how should, suppose there is a person A whose children are B and C. B is a male, C is a female. The daughter is married then. Now it comes to the question of division of age property. Since there is amendment now, so C is also entitled to claim her share, even though she is a married daughter. She is entitled to claim her share. Is there anything positive about it for B, who's a male sibling?
positive.
Yes, out of this amendment. How should he see? Can he explore, can he find any positivity in this amendment?
So I believe that this amendment, it promotes a right to equality. So for that person, so I'm sorry, I'm not able to comprehend my answer from that person's perspective. male person.
That's all right. That's all right. This is a dimension of thought one should apply, isn't it? So tell me about triple talaq. That has been a talk of the town for right reasons. Triple talaq, as is practiced in India, they say it is as per their personal law, or it is Islamic personal law and all. Do you think it is sanctioned in Islam? Triple talaq. It has the sanction of the scriptures.
Sir, sir, I've read it somewhere that talaq-e biddat was not a recognized form of talaq. So the other form of talaq, that it was more recognized. But that's all I can recall right now.
My limited question is as to whether the talaq-e biddat has a scriptural sanction or not. Is it mentioned in Quran?
Sir, sorry, sir, I don't have much knowledge about that subject, that whether it is scripted or not.
All right. Actually, it was the other way around. Just for your information, maybe it helps you in the actual interview. It is the other way around. The Muhammad Sahab used to denounce this practice actually, and the second caliph, if I am right, if I read it correctly, some of the caliphs, they actually used to punish husbands which used to engage into such activities. So that's how it is. Anyways, it's not time for revealing answers. Okay, tell me, for what reasons are people opposing the imposition of or introduction of a uniform civil code? 3 reasons.
Yes, sir. The first reason for the minorities are saying, sir, that so it will lead to radicalization of a society, that the majority section of the society is trying to impose their culture for the minority section person. So also the second would be the scheduled tribe people. So they have their particular values. So I feel if UCC is implemented, then their particular ethos and values would get uh, diminished to some extent. And sir, also, sir, this is the 2 reason I can think of right now.
What is your individual stand on this? Should UCC be brought or should it wait?
So I think that it should be brought, sir, because of many reasons. So first one, yes, sir. The first one would, sir, the first one would be, so it creates a very parallel judicial system that has to deal with those laws. If there would be a single law which govern all the sections of the society, it would be a lot easier. The second reason would be it would improve the status of women, because in many local laws, so there are many provisions which are so they are derogatory to the status of women. And the third would be so it would also, to some extent, if the laws get unified, then it would lead to so it will promote unity of the country.
All right. How would it promote unity?
There would be uniform laws, so there would be equality for all persons.
Equality is fine. How? But my question was about unity, because your answer was about unity. Equality was nowhere there.
So sorry, sir, I meant equality, so maybe I've used the wrong term.
Okay, then let me rephrase the question. Will it also go a long way to promote integration of this nation?
Yes, sir, maybe.
That may also be an after effect.
Yes,
if
sir.
I were to allow you to take a guess, how would you guess the reasoning? What would be the reasoning behind UCC implementation going to add to national integration? If it works, how would it work?
So there would be unified laws on all the subjects. So every person of all the communities, so they would not feel that they are discriminated in any form.
All right, all right. Do you think that the debate going on about UCC is a well-intended debate in the society as a part of evolution of the society and the law, or it is simply a politically motivated propaganda because elections are nearing us?
So I feel that UCC, so it is a very important subject, and the discussions, because it will bring very wide changes if implemented. So I think such discussions are good, sir.
Yes, absolutely. There's no problem. I was asking the causality of the debate and the timing of the debate, whether they are well intended or they are politically motivated. That was my question, not whether they are good or bad.
The sir, I don't know what.
What is
I
your
don't know the answer. So my view.
Is coincidence justified? Is this
Yes,
coincidence
sir.
up to 2024 elections and the heating debate justified? Or is it a coincidence or it is sponsored?
So in my opinion, it can be sponsored.
Okay. Do you also see that the reason of this kind of emergent and what we call incumbent necessity of UCC all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, gradual enough, there is an evolution behind it. So the necessity of UCC is becoming all the more palpable because not only of a complete void about it, but also because the existing laws which try to address that problem in a different way are not that efficacious. Is it about weakness of the existing laws also, or is it just about absence of a law in this regard, absence of a uniform civil code?
Yes, sir. So I believe that it is due to weakness of law, because even though if in particular circumstance we believe that even though UCC is not implemented, then if necessary changes are brought to Muslim personal law or any other personal laws, then the situation can be rectified.
All right. Try to convey the same thought through an example of your choice. Take 10 seconds, find out the example, and try to convey this principle that you are speaking about.
Yes, sir. So, for example, in Muslim succession, sir, if a male member is present, then the women would get half of the interest which she would be getting if the male is not present. So, sir, that it can be changed through making amendments in the personal law, like it has been done in Hindu law.
Is there a Sharia Application Act already in existence?
Yes, sir, of 1939.
That doesn't matter. That is of no consequence, even though it is 1937. But that has no relevance to our dialogue here. Is there an act you must have heard about?
Yes, sir. So that's what I'm saying. The Sharia Act of 1930.
That's what I'm asking. There is a Sharia Application Act. Why it is not serving the purpose that we are trying to get served through UCC? It was brought for the same reason, to codify a personal law and make it more objective.
I believe that with the changing needs of the society, it should be changed.
My answer here, I'm asking why it could not become successful in addressing the problems which we are talking even till date. It was brought for this purpose only.
So I believe that it is it is based on orthodox Muslim views. So for that purpose, it is not really helpful in addressing the present situation. So for that reason, amendment should be brought.
So suppose you happen to, as an individual, you have the freedom to choose your life partner. Suppose you and your life partner choose to enter this sanctified relationship of marriage. Do you have any other way to legalize your marriage and your respective personal law? Is there any option available for a couple in India to enter into marriage otherwise than as mandated by or as required by the personal law?
Yes, sir. So they can opt for court marriage before they register.
And is there a law for it? Is there an act for it?
So, sir, I'm not able to recall it right now. I'll look up on it.
Maybe Special Marriages Act?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I was not.
And
Yes.
suppose they take shelter of the Special Marriage Act and they get perfectly legalized. What would happen to their succession rights then?
So then it would be governed by that particular law, not Hindu personal law.
Is Special Marriages Act expanded enough to cover even succession issues?
No, sir. So I meant Indian Succession Act.
So there is a special Indian Succession Act to take care of people who are registered through this Special Marriage Act. That's what you
Yes,
want?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Last question from my side, and that is, okay, tell me one thing. Bringing uniform civil code has the threat to jeopardize the religious freedom granted in 25 and 26. This is what is being said by some schools of thought. They say that it is directly violative of Article 25. So do you really agree with this? If not, what are your counter arguments?
So I think so I do not believe with the statement. So I believe that the Article 25 it protects the essential religious practices, and if certain a part of those personal laws, so they are not essential religious practices, there is no issue that it is violating Article 25 or 26 of the Constitution.
Suppose uniform civil code comes and affects that the marriage in the Muslim community, say, marriages in the Muslim community should be done like this, and these are the protocols to be followed. Earlier, the marriages in that particular community, they were governed by their personal laws. Okay. Now there is a uniform civil code which completely maybe disrupts. We don't know what are the contents, but suppose they disrupt that earlier practice and they set in place different protocols. Isn't it interfering with their religious freedom?
Yes, sir. So in that for that question, I would answer that Article 25 it accepts certain exceptions that Article 25 clause 2 it says that certain laws can be made which are progressive in nature that can be made by the state, and also if Article 25 should be read with other rights of the Constitution. So if particular change it is promoting right to equality, then it can be said that it is not violating Article 25 in that situation.
Okay, I'm sorry I said it will be the last question, but I cannot resist but ask about your hobbies as my final question. What are your hobbies?
So my hobby is cooking.
Cooking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you cook? Veg, non-veg, or both?
Sir, vegetarian food, and sir, also I like cooking certain continental cuisines which I learn. So I try to make them.
Name one continental cuisine that you like most.
So I like most of pastas.
Okay, okay.
And
What
also,
are pastas made up of?
sir, so in India, I believe it is made up of semolina.
Okay, all right. Tell me one thing about cooking, and since you specialize in this, and vegetarian food is this thing, how do you view this thing, the distinction between veg and non-veg food? You think that is ethical? Non-vegetarian food is ethical?
So I would not say it is ethical or non-ethical because it is upon a person's choice. So they should.
Do ethics actually vary?
Yes, sir. It varies from society to society.
Society to society, they do. Yes. Individual to individual.
Yes, sir. So,
And that is perfectly all right if individuals are allowed to fix their own level or standards of ethics. Does it remain ethics anymore if it is so fluid? Does it remain ethics at all?
sir, I would say that a particular individual, if he belongs to a particular society, and another individual, if he belongs to certain other part of society, then in that cases, I meant that it would vary individual to individual.
You do not find anything unethical about killing an animal and eating it.
So in my personal opinion, sir, I feel that it is unethical.
All right. That will be all from my side. We'll get back in the feedback session.
Thank you.
Jaiswal ji?
जी जी
Good evening.
इंटरनेशनल
जायसवाल जी आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है। अनुज जी आप लीजिए। जायसवाल जी आपकी आवाज बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही है।
आवाज तो जो है मैं थोड़ा सा हमारा एंगेजमेंट है और जरूरी ऑफिशियल, तो मैं फिर निकलता। आवाज नहीं आ रही मेरी?
आवाज टूट रही है।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है, तो थैंक यू।
हाँ अनुज जी आप लीजिए।
सर Samabi,
Yes, sir.
हेलो,
Yes, sir.
आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
Yes,
आ
sir.
रही।
सर, what is the probation?
Sir, so sorry.
Probation क्या है?
Probation.
Yes.
Probation. So, so basically, if a person is sent for probation, he so he is set free, but he is under the surveillance of a certain authority, and his conduct is monitored. And if he violates any conditions of the probation, that he can be rearrested.
And where there is any separate law for the probation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. So it is Probations of Offenders Act, and also, sir, under Section 360 of CRPC, it has been mentioned.
So if it is already given under the Section 360, what is the need of the separate act? Or is there any difference between these two provisions?
Sir, the place where Probation of Offenders Act is applicable, in that place, Section 360 is not applicable.
It's not applicable. Both are exclusive.
Sir, in Probations of Offenders Act, it has been mentioned that Section 360 of CRPC would not be applicable in that area.
Then where the probation of offender would be applicable?
If a particular state maintains a provision that in
What
that
is the
particular
particular? What is the particular state?
so any state, sir, if he wants to implement
Probation can be given by the court in all types of offences, or there is any restriction?
Yes, sir. Sir, and under 360 of CRPC, it has been mentioned that if it is if the person is a woman, or the person is below the age of 21 years, in that case, it can be given in all cases. But if he is above age of 21 years, then only if he is punishable for offences not punishable with death or imprisonment for life, or for imprisonment above 7 years, in that case. And so also the court would see the nature, character and incidents of the accused.
Whether it can be granted to the habitual offender also?
No, sir.
Okay. And what is furlough? These terms oftenly used in newspaper. Furlough.
Sorry,
Have you
sir.
heard this?
I'm sorry, sir. Not able to recall the word right now.
Okay. What is a dowry?
The dowry would mean giving any property or valuable security from one party to marriage to another party, or parents of one party to another party, or any other, or to any other person before or at the time of marriage or after the marriage, but it do not includes dower or meher.
So, what is a dowry?
It is given by a Muslim man as a matter of respect to the women, while the time of marriage or afterwards also he can give.
How many kinds of a dowry in Muslim law?
The prompt dower and deferred dower.
Okay. If what is a prompt dowry?
The prompt dower means that if the women, so she asks for the dower at any time, then the man has to give the dower to the women.
Kindly repeat your answer again, please. Again.
Yes, sir. So it would mean that if the wife at any time, sir, she demands the dower, so the man has to give the dower to the women.
If there is no amount is fixed for the dower, then how much amount would be considered as a prompt dower and how much it would be considered as a deferred dower?
So if no amount is fixed, then the Qazi, so he can look that what amount has been given to a girl who is similar to that particular girl in her family, or he will look that what are the qualities of the girl and what is the her financial position before marriage. Then he can fix the dower.
In a Shiala or a Sunnila?
Sir, I'm not able to recall it. Sorry, sir.
Okay. What is the other form of talaq you have mentioned in sorry sir questions? What is other form of talaq?
Sir, talaq is sunnat.
Hmm.
Sir,
Have you heard about the talaq-i-tafweez? The term talaq-i-tafweez.
yes, sir. The delegated divorce. So
Okay.
so the husband, sir, he delegates the power to his wife that she could
Only his wife or any other person?
so, and to any
Or
other
any
person
person?
also.
Any
So to
person
any,
also?
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What is the doctrine of pleasure?
Yes, sir. So doctrine of pleasure has been mentioned under Article 310 of the Indian Constitution. It means that any person who has been appointed to the services of union, he would work at the till the pleasure of the president. And if he is appointed at the services of state, then he would work at the pleasure of government.
Whether this doctrine is applicable in India in a complete sense or in a full sense?
So not in a full sense. So only certain posts are working at the pleasure of the president or the governor, like Sir Advocate General, Attorney General.
Okay. It is said that the executing court cannot go in the route of the decree.
Mm.
What does it mean?
The concept, so it has been mentioned under section 47 of the CPC that the executing court can only decide matters relating to satisfaction. The other terms I'm not able to recall. It cannot go to the root of the decree which has been passed by the original court.
And what is the difference between fact in issue and relevant fact?
Yes, sir. Sir, fact and issue would mean the facts which has to be proved in a case, whereas relevant facts are all those facts which suggest certain inferences that fact and issue is present or not.
And what is the fact in issue in a case of murder? Suppose A has committed the murder to B.
Sir, in that case, the fact and issue would be whether it was intentional, whether the person who has committed the crime he has acted under certain grave or sudden provocation, or whether he has been he has been suffering from any legal unsoundness. So all that matters would be fact and issue.
Is there any exception also present in our IPC about the grave and sudden provocation?
Yes,
When
sir.
even though the grave and sudden provocation is present, but you will not get the benefit of that.
Yes, sir.
What is the condition?
The condition would be that the grave and sudden provocation, so it cannot come from an act of private defense. If the other person is exercising his private defense, and so also it should not come from the act of any public authority who is exercising his lawful duty.
Very good. And
Sir, also it should not be voluntarily provoked.
what does it mean? It should not be self-induced. Means, can you
Sir,
give me any illustration?
So it means that in a free fight, if a person he starts the fight and then other person also beats him and he says that he was provoked to a very gruesome extent to kill that person. In that case, it is said that it should not be voluntarily provoked. He would not get the defense of that particular exception of 300.
Very good. And what is the area of interest? Which law do you want to discuss here in a more comfortable way?
The Indian Evidence Act.
Evidence Act.
Yes, sir.
And what is the difference between admission, statement, and confession?
Admission. Sir, admission would mean any statement in electronic, oral, or document form which suggests certain inference towards relevant fact or fact and issue, whereas confession is a smaller circle. So admission would be a bigger circle and confession would be a smaller circle. Confession would mean only that statement which suggests inference of a crime, or it either accepts the essentials of the crime or all the facts which comprises of the crime. That would be confession.
Whether the confession is defined in an Indian Evidence Act?
No, sir, it has not been defined. The Privy Council has defined it in Pakala Narayan Swami versus Emperor.
In which case it was accepted by the Supreme Court?
It was accepted in the case of Palvinder Kaur versus the State of Punjab.
Co-accused and accomplice. क्या difference है दोनों में?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The co-accused would mean any person who has committed the crime together with the accused, or has abetted or has attempted to commit that crime, and he has been jointly tried with the accused. And the accomplice would mean any person who's participus criminis, which would mean that he has committed the crime with the accused, but he has been granted pardon under section 306 of CRPC and he becomes a prosecution witness. In that case, he would be set as an approver.
Is there any difference between approver and accomplice, or both are same term?
when the person he gets pardon under 306 and he becomes the prosecution witness, then he would be called under the name approver, and before that he would be said to be an accomplice.
Okay. So my last question is, what is a suit of civil nature?
Yes, sir. The suit of civil nature has been it has not been defined in CPC, but mentioned. It has been mentioned under Section 9 of the CPC, which says that any suit which deals with private rights and liabilities, that would be a suit of civil nature, but it do not include a purely religious or a purely political question.
अभी जो 3 बिल आया है आपके यहाँ इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है,
Yes, sir.
with 3 मेजर चेंजेस बताएं आप जो इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट में हुए.
Indian Evidence Act.
Yes.
Sir, it has in sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall of Indian Evidence Act.
In a CRPC.
Yes, sir, CRPC. Sir, the first change would be that or any matter of search and seizure, sir, it should be videographed. It has been compulsory. And so second would be if any statement has been taken of women who against whom a crime has been committed, but that also should be compulsorily videographed.
It is also in your present CRPC. It is a present.
Yes, sir, it has been mentioned under Section 154, but in Section 154 it has been mentioned that only when the woman is so she is mentally or physically not in terms that she could give a proper statement, that case it would be videographed. But now it has become compulsory.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Chitresh.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Right, sir. Shambhavi, सुन पा रहे हैं आप
Yes.
मुझे? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Shambhavi, can you tell us what is the total pendency in Indian courts ranging from the lower judiciary up to the Supreme Court?
So I don't know the exact number, but it would be in millions.
Millions. Recently, it has touched a landmark figure, which
80
for your
million.
information, not 80 million, but 50 million. Okay. So, with a pendency of 50 million cases, now, as you were discussing in one of the panelists' question, that Supreme Court should come out with such a handbook and waste its precious time in doing such a thing instead of delivering its justice. Is it right on the part of Supreme Court?
Sir, I believe that most of the pendency, sir, it is at subordinate court levels. So there the problem should be issued more, because Supreme Court in most of the cases do not have original jurisdiction. So it would not
What
be
is the
right.
pendency in Supreme Court?
Sorry, sir, I don't know the numbers.
Then how can you say that most of the pendency is in lower court?
Sir, I've read it somewhere, sir, but I don't know the numbers, sir. Sorry.
Where have you read it?
Sir, sir, online when I was
Can you quote any official report?
Sorry, sir.
Okay. So there is a huge pendency in Supreme Court also, and Supreme Court keeps getting engaged in such frivolous activities. Is it right on the part of Supreme Court?
Yes, sir. Because we cannot say that addressing these issues of stereotypes is so it is frivolous, because it is also very important for promoting a certain status of certain
Is it
section
Supreme
of society.
Court's work? Is it Supreme Court's work? Is it Supreme Court's work?
Sorry, sir.
Is it Supreme Court's work? Is it Supreme Court's work? Where have you read it? Is it Supreme Court's work?
Yes, sir. The Supreme Court is the uh, foremost interpreter of the Constitution. As a right to equality, sir, it emanates from the Constitution, sir. It is Supreme Court's duty.
What do you understand by judicial overreach?
Sir, sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall the exact meaning right now.
Do you believe in the concept of separation of powers?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that judiciary should refrain itself from interfering in the domain of executive and legislative?
No, no, sir. Because Article 13 of the Constitution, sir, it gives the right of judicial review, and the court has the power to expound all the laws made by legislature and any executive action which is in violation of art, Constitution of the India, provisions of Constitution.
So,
So, sir, is so I don't believe is that I believe that the Supreme
so
Court should.
every time Supreme Court should keep interfering in others' domains and keep quoting the Constitution of India.
No, sir. So only when it violates certain fundamental rights, then in that case it should.
Okay. Have you heard the maxim "Ubi jus ibi remedium"?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
So it means where there is right, there is remedy.
Where there is right, there is remedy, or where there is wrong, there is remedy?
So where there is a right, so it means that when the right is infringed, there is a remedy.
So if a right is getting infringed, is it right or wrong?
So the right is getting infringed. So I believe the maxim says that where there is a right, there is a remedy.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the limitation of this maxim?
The limitations of this maxim are, sir, sir, I can relate it with Section 9 of CPC, which is a legislative manifestation of this particular maxim. So the limitations of Section 9 would be that where the certain law it prescribes that a particular jurisdiction shall be granted to a particular court, for example, sir, to revenue court or to election tribunals. So in that case, the jurisdiction of civil court would be barred in that matter. So that would be a limitation to it.
Okay, some X person, when does he or she need a remedy? When he or she is wronged, or when he or she has been facilitated with something right?
So when he or she is wrong.
So if any person is wrong, can there be remedy for all the wrongs?
No, sir. So only those wrongs which are considered as a crime in the society.
Crime in the society.
No, sir. Sorry, sir. I want to rephrase it. It would mean that not crime, sir. Anything which is considered as a wrong in the society. That for that it would be redressed.
Okay. Is lying considered good or bad?
Sorry, sir. I'm not able to understand.
झूठ बोलना सही समझा जाता है समाज में या गलत समझा जाता है?
सर झूठ बोलना तो सर गलत समझा जाता है, पर वो पनिशेबल ऑफेंस, पर वो सर सिर्फ झूठ बोलना पनिशेबल ऑफेंस नहीं है.
अभी तो आपने बोला कि जो गलत समझा जाता है उसके लिए रेमेडी है.
सर जो किसी के राइट को इन्फ्रिंज कर रहा हो और गलत समझा जा रहा हो तब वो रेमेडी प्रोवाइड करता है.
You only said that whatever is considered wrong in society, there is a remedy for it.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall what I have to say.
Okay, no problem. What do you understand by strict liability and absolute liability?
The strict liability, if in from thoughts in the thoughts, the strict liability would mean, so it accepts certain exceptions, but absolute liability as the principle has been uh, developed, so it do not recognizes any exceptions.
Who developed this concept of absolute liability?
The Supreme Court.
In court, which jurist? In which case?
So, sir, in MC Mehta versus Union of India.
Very good. Who was the jurist?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall the name of the jurist right now.
One of the very famous jurists of India. He is
So,
also attributed with the finding initiating of PIL in India.
yes, sir, so Justice P.N. Bhagwati.
Good. Very good. So, Shambhavu, why is this law of torts not very well developed in India?
Sir, there could be, so out of many reasons, sir, what I'm able to think right now is, so because already, sir, civil laws and criminal laws, so they have been defined, but sir, and to some extent the remedies are also provided for the wrongs in both the uh, laws, sir. For that reason, people don't take, so as taught do not deals with very gruesome offenses, so people tend to ignore such laws, and they do not want to take legal redress for such wrongs. That is the main reason why it is not developed.
Okay. What are the different schools of jurisprudence?
This is a analytical school, a historical school, a sociological school, ethical school,
Which is school?
philosophical school.
Philosophical school. To which school do you find yourself closest to?
Sir, sociological school.
Why?
Sir, because it mentions that law has been developed to address conflicting interest of the society. So to that part, I relate that a law is a set of rules that anytime there is conflict between certain individuals or between individual and society, the law would govern and address that problem.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shambhavi. That will be all from my side. Over to you, Ojha sir.
Sambhavi,
Yes, sir.
your name is Sambhavi Sanskrityan.
Yes, sir.
What is it is? Why Sambhavi Sanskrityan?
Sir, Sankrityan is our Gotra name.
There is one famous person on the same name. Do you know him?
Yes, sir, Rahul Sankrityan.
What is important with the Rahul Sankrityan?
Sir, he was a very renowned writer, and he wrote many travel monologues.
Have you any trait of the Rahul Sankrityan yourself?
Uh, Sir, I like to travel.
He has written a book. You remember the name? It's on the travel. Very important book.
Yes, sir. Sir, I don't know how to pronounce it, but sir,
Right.
so it
Right.
is something like Bhumakkad Jigyasa, something like that.
Athato Bhumakalo Jigyasa.
Yes, sir.
Your father was SDM.
Yes, sir.
What happened to him?
Sir, he suffered heart attack.
When?
Sir, in 2011.
You was very small at that time, just 12, 13 years old. You remember your dad?
Yes, sir.
You miss him, but he will very happy when you selected. Your mom has got the job on the place of your dad.
Yes, sir.
How many brothers sisters you are?
Sir, I have two younger siblings.
They are lucky. They have got the elder sister like you. You must be taking care of them. What they are doing?
Sir, so my sister, sir, she has been placed in an MNC. So she's working at Amazon, and my brother he's about to get placed. So he studies in Nalsar, Hyderabad.
Oh, okay. In which year is selected in the Nalsar?
Sir, in 2019. So he's in last year of his college.
Okay, okay. You not appeared in the CLAT?
Sir, I did appear, but my rank was not that great. So it was in 2000.
Where he got the job, your brother?
So his placements are going on, so he will get placed by the
Yeah.
end of September.
Yeah. Nalsar has the 100% placement. There is no issue.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Where
Sir.
your sister has done the engineering? She's an engineer, your sister.
No, sir.
Was it
She
good?
is an IIM postgraduate.
From where?
IIM Rohtak.
Assam. Okay. So now your mother has brought you all very nicely. You all three has got very good placement.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
big achievement for her. Your father wanted to be a judge?
Yes, sir. So my father was from law background as well. He has done his LLB. He wanted to become a judge, but so destiny has its own choices. So he got selected in executive services.
Where you want to marry?
Soon after he get the job.
What type of husband you want?
So he should be respectful to my family.
You wanted your husband should take care of your family?
Yes, sir. No, sir. So we all three are enough that we can take. So I think he should just respect that. If I want to take care of my mother, so he should respect that.
Fundamental right is absolute or not?
No, sir. So it is not absolute.
Any fundamental right is absolute? Think a moment.
Let me see.
Article 21.
Yes. Sir, sorry, I'm not able to.
Article 20. Article 23.
Article 23. Sir,
Prohibition
no,
of
sir.
employment of children in factories.
No, sir, it is not absolute.
It is absolute.
So, what it says that state can call for any compulsory services. That is not an exception.
What is the language of Article 23? Can you recall?
Yes, sir. It prohibits bonded labor and beggary.
No child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in a factory. It's absolute.
Okay, sir.
Why Article 21 is not absolute?
The Article 21, sir, it should be read along with restrictions of Article 19 and Article 14, as has been mentioned in
Article 21 only controls the executive, not the legislature. Can you recall the language of Article 21?
language. Sir, no person shall be deprived of right to life and personal liberty except for procedure established by law.
Then what does it mean?
Sir,
it is protecting against only executive, not against legislature, isn't it? You again repeat the same line.
Sir, other than procedure established by law.
It means if a procedure is established by law, deprived of the life and personal liberty.
Yes, sir, but the procedure that is established, which is restricting the right to life and liberty, so it should be reasonable, fair, and justified.
कहाँ कहाँ लिखा है? Where it is written?
Sir,
It is
it has
job. It
been.
is the job of. It is the job of the court to examine. But Parliament passed that on. If
Yes, sir.
Parliament tomorrow is saying that no person below the age of 21 year is allowed to go for vote. That's the law. You cannot say on Article 21 or even the Parliament is saying that nobody is entitled to live beyond age of 60 years. That is the law. Court, you may challenge to the court. But as far as Article 21 is concerned, what is saying? Procedure established by law. It is incorrect. But procedure established by law. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I don't know the exact.
Just think about it. No issue. You tell me something about the UCC. You tell in 3-4 lines. What is UCC? Not only 3-4 lines.
Yes, sir. So it would mean a uniform laws in case of inheritance, marriage, adoption, divorce.
Again, you try. Again try. UCC has no concern with the inheritance property. It's the outcome of the UCC.
Yes, sir.
What I'm asking, you said thinking of the UCC. Yes, you tell the UCC. That's all.
So in simple terms, it could mean unified law for the citizens in all the fields.
This is better answer. Same saree you are going to wear in the interview?
No, sir. Sir, I'm wearing an off-white saree.
You will select us only.
Thank you.
I'm very sure you will select it. The way you started with the Swati, you have set a tone of the interview. I always tell the interview is being taken on the basis of the general perception. You created a perception of a very nice girl who has a knowledge. You are very knowledgeable. Most of the questions you answer very brilliantly. As far as I am concerned, I think you go ahead like this. You don't change it. And
so with this saree,
you can go. I will say, Swati is here. Swati
I'm here. No, your off-white will also look very nice. You're very confident. You answer well. So, if you can just, वीरेंद्र, अगर आप इनको फोटो भेज सकते हो अपने साड़ी.
हाँ भेज दिया. ऐसा करना, सामूही अपनी जो साड़ी पहना उसकी फोटो उसको भेजना. मैं तुमको एक फोटो भेजता हूँ, जब तुम बोलती तुम्हारा हेड ऐसे होता है. आई विल सेंड मैंने आप टेक योर पिक्स, जस्ट यू टेक इट. ऐसे होता है आपका ये.
नहीं, बट आई थिंक वीरेंद्र वो शायद इसलिए होता है क्योंकि वो अपने कान में लगा के सुन रही है. बिकॉज आई नोटिस्ड नहीं, वो इसलिए हो रहा है.
ऑनलाइन मॉक में कई बार कैमरे में भी आदमी एडजस्ट करता है.
हाँ, क्योंकि वो मैंने नोटिस किया था आपको कि जब अलग अलग लोग आपसे पूछते हैं तो आप जैसे आप बैठे होगे और वहां पे आपको दिख रहे हैं, आप उस तरफ हो जाते हो. तो आई डोंट थिंक वीरेंद्र वो वैसे नॉर्मल है. आई थिंक किसी एक के में ऐसे रिप्लाई कर रही होंगी, या तो सुनाई ठीक से नहीं दे रहा था या कुछ. बिकॉज दैट आई नोटिस दैट शी इज लुकिंग स्ट्रेट अदरवाइज, बिकॉज शी चेंजेस द पोजिशन एज द स्पीकर, द पैनलिस्ट चेंजेस. दैट आई डिड नॉट फाइंड कि वो एक्चुअल प्रॉब्लम है. In fact, your words are your own. That is I want to compliment you on that. अभी तक जितने मैंने 2 दिन में देखे, उसमें I found when you know the answers, you are very fluent, very good. When you are and you do not, even if somebody is trying to play you, you don't get played. So that's a big compliment. Good. Only thing is, I'll suggest that sometimes, but that is very natural, so it's not really a negative. जब आप सोच के बोलते हो ना, तो वो ज्यादा आता है, पर वो शायद हमारा भी आएगा. I don't want to say anything on that because you can't even change it, and if you become conscious, it will become bad. So it's okay. मतलब but अगर अभी 1 हफ्ता है तो एक बार recording देखना, तो you'll notice what I'm trying to say.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
ऑल द
तो
बेस्ट। एक बार जो आप
स्वाति,
साड़ी पहनोगे ना, जो आप
हाँ
अपनी
स्वाति,
साड़ी पहनोगे,
हाँ
उसकी
यस,
जैसे अभी पहनी है ना, उसके ऊपर बस ऐसे ही लगा देना, सो दैट वी डोंट वांट यू टू स्पॉइल इट और एनीथिंग। और उसकी फोटो खिंचवा के एक बार वीरेंद्र को भेज दीजिएगा।
I want to ask that white sari is not advisable or
No,
what?
it's advisable. It's nice because the other girls were also wearing white. They were looking very smart also.
प्रियदर्शनी इज
Okay.
आल्सो वेयरिंग व्हाइट, उसका बहुत अच्छा आ रहा है। उसी बात आज उसने इंटरव्यू दिया, जस्ट उसी जो प्रियदर्शनी इंटरव्यू, उसने उसी साड़ी में इंटरव्यू दिया है, मॉक दिया जिसमें इंटरव्यू दे रही हो।
No, off-white
Okay.
is always good.
Ma'am, I'm also wearing a blazer
Great.
above it.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You look nice.
Yeah, yes,
Okay. All the best. Do well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
yes, Shaurya.
Sir, yes.
Yeah.
Give me some information so that because I have not been able to do homework on your information supplied already. When is your interview exactly? Ma'am is
So
indicating
it is on 25th.
25th, right? And what is your age?
So it is 27.
Okay. Okay, first I start with some concrete feedback, then I'll talk something else also. One question perhaps you should be very prepared is, and that should be, I mean, multi-bagger as they call it, isn't it? If they go on complementary questions on that particular question, then you should be prepared for 3-4 levels. And that is why you want to get into the service. Okay, you think hard about it. We will get back again if necessary, day after tomorrow, whenever possible. But think hard about it, develop your own answer. If you find difficulty, then get back to us.
Sir, I have prepared one answer, sir.
Yes,
If you allow,
Tell
sir,
us.
I wanted to say that, sir, I belong. So I have a family which I have a legal background. So both my father and my uncle, they were from legal background, and they have always inspired me since I was a little girl. And when I took admission into BLLB, so I found law as a very interesting subject. So it has also got my interest. And so the third would be, it would provide great reputation in the society and job security. And so also being a judge, it has a problem solving nature. So through it, I can impart justice, and I can uh, issue certain problems of the people and the society if the case allows it.
Okay. Okay, fine. I do not find anything wrong, but to be honest with you, the level that we expect from you, the answer lags behind actually. It has to be the sixer, as they call it. Na? ये सबसे तुम्हारा strong answer होना चाहिए. That is our expectation. We can work upon it. Right now is not the time to help you frame this answer. We can do that with the permission of sir and ma'am later on. But first, I'll give you the feedback. I'm prepared with my version of this answer also, but let us wait. Now, listen to me carefully. Not to imply that you are not listening, but all the more important to listen to me carefully. If you could learn just one thing from today's mock session, please, for God's sake, slow down. Okay, do not be, I mean, what we call it, do not be self-flagellating in this aspect. What is happening, there are two different things about pace. One, how much sir has been since time immemorial, sir has been advising you people. I have also been doing, please understand this, make it a habit continuously 4 or 5 days which are with you now. Do just one thing. Do not just frame an artificial question to yourself before a mirror and don't speak for 3 seconds. Don't speak, no matter what. You can frame. See, the only thing going wrong is you are rushing into answer, and in about 4 to 5 questions, I realized that you missed the scope and purport of the answer. You missed it. I'll exemplify also. For instance, I have to corroborate my observation. Na? 2 examples I will cite. One about probation. I believe Anuj sir asked you about probation. Okay. You rushed into the answer, replay it, and you will find you rushed into the answer without framing the sentence first. You know what I'm saying. So that is why you did not have a very well thought out answer to begin with. Later on, sooner or later, you somehow try to reach that the crux of the matter, but it was initially haywire, wasn't it? So why did it happen? Because you see, it is very, I analyze very objectively. You see it, replay it, and you'll find that just the moment the question finished, you rushed into it. Take 2 to 3 seconds, form the first sentence. It's okay. You will not lose time. You will not lose impression before the panel. Believe me, trust me on this. So don't rush in answering. Otherwise, your speed was okay, but if you slow it down 10-20%, it will be very beneficial for you. Because I know what will happen. You will be able to use better words and phrases. That is what will happen. Okay. Otherwise, what happens that we go in translation mode. We think in Hindi and then translate it somehow to make sense. If you slow down, then you will be your brain will actually propel you to find good words. That is what happens. It is very natural. I don't want to waste your time on elaborating why. Trust us on this and do this. Don't rush into the answer. When you start answering, first sentence is already ready. Now the second, third sentence will, it is called rolling plan kind of thing. Second and third sentences will be found by your brain naturally. It will be very helpful for you. That's point number 1. Point number 2, whenever a situation of such kind arises, that what you say is countered by the panel. For instance, it was about the fundamental rights which are not absolute or something that was being discussed. Child labor and all harsh conditions, this hazardous conditions, these things were being talked about. You answered, Oja sir asked you something, you answered, and he said, no, it is not absolute. Something like that happened. Na? If it ever so happens, and you are actually not 100% sure, or if you have something to say, then the best part is to say it like this. Suppose he said, no, aisa nahi hota hai. Then the first line you should say, sir, I may have then misunderstood it and misguided myself because I thought कि compulsory service लेने का provision है. You don't say it right away. But sir, there is a compulsory. You say, then, sir, I must have misguided myself in understanding that because I was thinking about this provision. That makes more sense. That will be very good. If it ever happens, a disagreement precipitates, then you start with this. So that you never say, but sir should never come. But ma'am, no. That's not permissible. Okay? Because maybe you are correct with respect to the answer, but that somehow opens up a window to your rigid mind. There is always a possibility that you misunderstood something when you read. और उस समय आप सही भी होगे, हो सकता है कई बार पैनलिस्ट गलत, अरे भाई सबको सब थोड़ा याद रहता है. But you don't belittle them by reminding them कि अरे लेकिन इसमें तो लिखा है, नहीं अपना ही गलती मान लो कि सर मेरे से गलती हो गया होगा, और अगर वो ग्रेसफुल है वो तुरंत कह देंगे नो you are right. That is a better direction of communication. Okay, that was number 2. You also see, note it down, you also see your response to changes in the Indian Evidence Act. When Anuj sir asked it, what are the changes proposed in the Indian Evidence Act? You should have said, sir, may I take a moment? Don't give an awkward silence. Always say, if it is going beyond 2-3 seconds, then say, sir, may I take a moment, sir? And if you do not recall in the next 3 seconds, immediately apologize, move ahead. Okay, sir, sorry, sir, but I am not able to recall. Zyada nahi khechna hai usko. And just opposite of that happened in the next question. Sir ne kaha ki, acha to CRPC mein kya changes hai wo bata do. And you are extremely prompt then. So एक बैलेंस दोनों को बना के अपने को रखना है. ठीक है, ये भी ध्यान रखिएगा. ये तो पहले कवर हो चुका है. देखो, हालांकि ये मेच्योरिटी लेवल पर डिपेंड करता है. तुम अभी बच्ची हो, you are just learning, but because you have shown immense maturity in your answers, so I find duty bound to also sensitize you that you can also improve upon in this aspect, and that is, जब कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा जा रहा है, जैसे चित्रेश सर ने पूछा कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में इतनी पेंडेंसी पड़ी हुई है और इनको फालतू काम करने का जो है वो कर रहा है, ये सब करना चाहिए क्या? ओके, तो यू वेंट ऑन टू जस्टिफाई दैट पेंडेंसी वहां नहीं यहां है, जबकि इसका जो I think Chitresh sir will correct me also, but I believe that that what a winning answer would have been that sometimes, sir, justice, both the aspects of the justice have to be taken care of, the quantum and the quality. You understand the kind of quality justice that has been delivered. ये quality aspect है ना भाई. आप उसमें से जो discriminatory words हटा रहे हैं, ये करा रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, तो ये quality of justice भी improve हो रहा है ना. ये कहने से काम निकल जाता है और कम से कम एक better question आएगा, prompt question आएगा. क्योंकि आप फिर उसमें फंस गए कि I don't know the data कि कहाँ pendency कितनी है. Okay, you don't go that way. If a question is asked, you, yeah, लेकिन ये तो एक example है. It is not a tailor-made answer. ये तो एक एग्जांपल, कुछ ऐसा और पूछ लिया तब इज देयर अ यूनिवर्सल प्रिंसिपल व्हिच यू कैन अप्लाई? यस देयर इज. गो फॉर पर्पस. फॉर व्हाट पर्पस सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज डूइंग दिस? पर्पस के हिसाब से उसको करिए. डोंट ट्राई टू जस्टिफाई एनीथिंग. पर्पस क्या रहा होगा तो बोलो कि इस पर्पस के, जब उसका पर्पस का सैंक्टिटी और उसका एनॉर्मिटी देखते हैं तो इट सीम्स दैट द क्वालिटी ऑफ जस्टिस शुड आल्सो बी अ फैक्टर दैट द जुडिशरी शुड बी कंसर्न्ड अबाउट. That's enough, I think.
Sorry, I'll just add to this. When you answered the same to with me, na, you were correct. You gave a very good answer. On the same thing, it was the same question. When you yourself gave me about the guideline, your answer there was very well taken. But I'll say correct. I think Chitresh ji was successful in diverting you towards the statistics. He was, in fact, I think, deliberately doing that. He wanted to know तुम कितनी sure हो, but you came out sure. There's no doubt. But हाँ, statistics, and I will suggest जब उन्होंने बोला है और ये actually अभी आया है कि 5 crore का pendency चल रहा है, तो I mean one should know at least कि कितना है. I mean, I think it's something like 70,000 before Supreme Court, little bit less than 70,000, and around.
हाँ, लगभग 70,000 के आसपास है मैम.
And 4 point something crores is with the subordinate courts.
और मेरे ख्याल से शांभवी उस समय सुन रही थी जिस समय हम इससे पहले प्रियदर्शनी को फीडबैक दे रहे थे. उस समय भी मैंने ये चीज बोली थी कि आपके लिए कई बार क्या किया जाता है, एक हॉट टॉपिक खड़ा किया जाता है और उसके बगल वाला एक यूजलेस कोल्ड टॉपिक पे क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया जाता है और आप उस हॉट टॉपिक के माइंडसेट में इतना रहते हो कि उससे हेड ऑन भिड़ जाते हो बजाय कि क्वेश्चन की डिमांड को एड्रेस करने.
But other than that, you were good.
Sorry, sir. Please continue, करें.
Yes. And there are certain small inputs on merit. Okay, on merit also there are certain things. First, you cannot say no to judicial overreach because कुछ ना मालूम हो और तो overreach word का तो meaning मालूम ही है. And it is very difficult to believe. It must have some things must have messed up your mind. Otherwise, it is impossible that you do not know about judicial overreach. You know it. I somehow believe that you must have read about it. And if you could not recall, that is all right. Sometimes you just try to apply your legal logic. और उसमें भी आंसर आ जाता है इसका, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. And then Chitresh sir gave you an elaborate hint also. Concept of
सर वो मुझे वहां पे ये लगा कि ये प्ले सेफ करना चाह रही थी. इनको लगा कि ये ऑलरेडी उसमें वहां पे ऐसे ग्राउंड में थी कि इसमें ना बोल के निकल जाना बेहतर है बजाय कि इसमें अब फंसने की ओर.
That if that is the case, then I would rate it as a smart but not wise. If you know something, you don't run away. Thumb rule. If you know something for sure, you do reply. Okay, don't run away. Don't try to be clever or something. नहीं आता है, नहीं आता है, उसके बाद के क्वेश्चन में नहीं आता है, कोई बात नहीं है. You do not have any loyalty towards any of the three legs. चाहे जुडिशरी हो चाहे लेजिस्लेटिव, किसी के लिए कोई परमानेंट लॉयल्टी रखने की जरूरत नहीं कि मुझे डिफेंड करना, मैं सर्विस की तैयारी कर रही हूँ. जो कॉमन सेंस में एक्सेप्टेबल है वो है, उसको नकार. You do not deny it. For instance, in the first instance, when you try to answer to Chitresh sir's question about separation of powers, then you somehow sounded to have completely denied कि नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, उसको तो पावर दिया गया है तो क्यों नहीं करेगा, जहां पर फंडामेंटल राइट वायोलेट होंगे वहां पर तो करेगा ही, इसमें कौन सा इंटरफेरेंस है. ओके, डोंट बी सो थ्योरेटिकल. ओके, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन एंड देन ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये मुझसे क्या उगलवाना चाह रहे हैं, क्या सुनना चाह रहे हैं, देन बैलेंस इट. Do not deny it, do not escape it. If there is a sense of perception of judicial activism, there's no denial to this fact. Okay, how much do you support it? How much are you in its favor? That is a subjective opinion. You can say even that should not be subjective. You say कि जहां तक बाद में तुमने आंसर किया, later on you answered it that कि so long as फिर वो wrong और right वाले पे चला गया, that is another thing. But you say कि जहां तक fundamental rights का well settled principles जो हैं वहां तक अगर है तो it is okay. Otherwise it is considered to be an unwarranted judicial activism. इस तरह का बात आप you are the best person to choose the words. I am not. फिर रेमेडी वाले में हाँ अल्टीमेटली आपने एग्जाम्पल सेक्शन 9 का दिया है नहीं, राइट रॉन्ग और क्या कौन सा था लिमिटेशंस टू दिस मैक्सिम, व्हाट आर द लिमिटेशंस टू दिस मैक्सिम कि राइट देयर इज अ राइट, वेयर देयर इज अ राइट देयर इज अ रेमेडी. आर यू श्योर दिस इज द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल? I would seek the help of Chitresh bhai. Kindly intervene brother. Is this
सर मैं तो वही सर उसमें तो मेन चीज वही है कि आपका जो रॉन्ग है वो कुछ लीगल रॉन्ग होना चाहिए तो रेमेडी है बस.
exactly.
अगर लीगल रॉन्ग ही नहीं है तो रेमेडी किस चीज की है? मेरी माँ ने मुझसे बोला बेटा तूने दूध उबाल दिया, मैंने बोला हाँ माँ उबाल दिया, मेरी माँ आराम से बिस्तर में बैठी रही, शाम को दूध फट गया, तो अब क्या मेरे को पुलिस में डाल दिया जाएगा? जेल में डाल देंगे इस चीज के लिए क्योंकि लीगल रॉन्ग नहीं है. झूठ बोल दिया था, काम चोरी कर ली, माँ को झूठ बोल के भाग गए, अब जेल में थोड़ी जाएंगे. तो रेमेडी वहां पे है जहां पे लीगल रॉन्ग है, जहां पे लीगल रॉन्ग नहीं है वहां पे कैसी रेमेडी? बस सर यही.
And then after a few questions you had to say I am not able to recall what I have to say, replay it and you'll find. वो तो गड़बड़ हो गया, नर्वस हो गया. You don't say this. You may say sir I think I would need more thought to be able to reply to this. I need to put more thought onto it. इस तरह I am not able to recall what I have to say. Phrase गलत है. That's my point. That phrase doesn't make sense. Reasons of underdevelopment of law of torts in India. There was a question कि इनके reasons of underdevelopment क्या है? I believe हम आपको मेरिट्स पे भी इसलिए फीडबैक सबको नहीं देते हैं, वो तो जो मेरिट वाले क्वेश्चन है वो आप जानिए, आपका स्टडी जाने, लेकिन आपको इसलिए देना जरूरी लग रहा है because there are only few mistakes you have made, so it seems necessary to assist you. Reasons of underdevelopment of law of torts में आपने जो बोला कि यहाँ पर लोग बहुत सीरियसली नहीं लेता है, इस सब टाइप का बात है. पहले जो मोस्ट मैनिफेस्ट पेटेंट रीजन है उन पे जाइए कि पॉवर्टी है, इलिटरेसी है, सेंस ऑफ जो है डिले, इंजस्टिस है, कौन उसका धक्का खाएगा. These are manifest reasons if I understand correctly. यही होगा ये, तभी तो हमारे सोसाइटी में इतना डेवलप नहीं. तो आप इस तरह का आंसर बनाइए जो ग्रेडेड हो. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग फर्स्ट, उसको वो मिस नहीं करना है. कन्फेस के डेफिनेशन में आपने बहुत बढ़िया लगा मुझे, बट एट दैट टाइम व्हाट एन एक्सपोजिशन ऑफ स्टडी एंड नॉलेज, हार्ड वर्क. आई एम वेरी प्लीज्ड when you said that confession is not defined, but it is defined in a case law, in a recent judicial precedent of Privy Council. But that is an opportunity missed also. Okay, it sounded very well and it will fetch you marks. But I say कई questions ऐसे होंगे जिनमें आप एक्स्ट्रा रिप्लाई कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें जब तुम समझदार हो और तुम अपने आप को हैंडल कर पाती हो, इसलिए बता रहे हैं कि इस सब में थोड़ा बदमाशी की जाती है, बहुत लाइट वाली बदमाशी, पूरा नहीं दिया जाता है आंसर ताकि एक क्वेश्चन इससे और पूछ ले कोई. सो व्हाट यू से दैट कन्फेशन, if I recall correctly sir, confession has not been defined in the statute, but in a case of Privy Council. शांत हो जाओ. हाँ, आपको याद है कौन से प्रीवी काउंसिल में पूछा तो ठीक, वरना आपने बता तो दिया ही. सब्सटेंस ऑफ योर रिप्लाई इज ऑलरेडी गिवन कि हम जानते हैं कि एक प्रीवी काउंसिल के केस में है, और वरना हो सकता है वो पूछ ले फिर. इफ अ सेकंड क्वेश्चन कम्स कि डू यू रिमेंबर व्हिच केस, वंडरफुल, नथिंग लाइक दैट. तब आप अपना सब कुछ इकट्ठा मत बता दीजिए, मेरा कहने का मतलब है, लेकिन सब्सटेंस बता दीजिए, एवरीथिंग ना बताइए, कोर बता के चुप हो जाने का. तो उसमें कई बार क्वेश्चन उठते हैं और तुम यू हैव रेड, यू आर वेल रेड इनफ कि आप हैंडल कर सके उसको. ये भी ठीक मेरा हो गया, ये भी अमेजिंग हो गया. इंडियन एविडेंस एग्जाम, आई थिंक आई एम डन. नाउ आई कम टू what I had to say. Eye movement में you have to be very careful. Your eyes are roaming here and there when you start thinking. Or maybe it will not be the case when it is a physical conversation. Maybe you would be able to control it. It is because of this. Otherwise, where would you look? Okay, it happens, but still being cautious, then sorry. I thought I will tell you that you do control your eye movement and keep your eyes 50% of the times, keep your eyes matched with the person who has asked the question, but here and there, 20-30% of the times, once or twice, look at others also while you are speaking. Okay, you do not confine yourself, your vision and your eye contact only to the person who has asked the question. ये याद रखना. बाकी ठीक है. Reasons to defend UCC जो है ना, उसमें थोड़ी मेहनत आपको और करनी चाहिए. बिकॉज यू आर टेकिंग अ स्टैंड, तो यूसीसी के लिए तो उसमें करने चाहिए. मेरा एक जो सुझाव है वो ये है बेटा, आपका एक्चुअली बीच में बहुत लंबे समय तक यू लॉस्ट योर स्माइल अंडर हैवी बम्बार्डमेंट काइंड ऑफ थिंग. यू लॉस्ट योर स्माइल. दैट शुड नॉट, यू शुड नॉट गेट ड्रेन्ड. हालांकि ये 1.5-2 घंटा में हो जाता है, लेकिन 10-15 मिनट्स में आई एम श्योर कि आप उसको मेंटेन कर पाएंगे. और यही आपका, नाउ दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई एम टेकिंग लिबर्टी ऑफ द पैनल एंड आस्किंग यू सम पर्सनल क्वेश्चंस. दिस इज योर अल्टीमेट गोल ईसीएसजे, करियर का अल्टीमेट गोल यही है. चलो अच्छी बात है, अच्छी बात है. अदरवाइज आई थॉट आई वुड जस्ट मेंशन एज अ ट्रेनर एंड एज अ वेरी हम्बल टीचर, मेरा मानना है कि दिस इज मच बेटर देन यू कैन डू देन दिस. आप अपने बहुत आगे जा सकते हैं करियर में. दैट्स माय फीडबैक. और बहुत ऑनेस्ट और ऑब्जेक्टिव फीडबैक है बेटा. आप बहुत आगे जा सकते हैं. यू विल बी wherever you go, if you work hard, you get the opportunity to work hard, you can touch any heights. इस बात को ध्यान रखना. अभी इसका इंटरव्यू दीजिए अच्छे से. ईश्वर आपका कल्याण करें, अच्छे से आपके परिश्रम को पुरस्कार मिले, वो मेरी शुभकामना है. लेकिन मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि यू शुड बी इन टच विद रिस्पेक्टेड सर एंड अस. आई थिंक बड़ा मुश्किल है ये स्टेटमेंट इस तरह से कहना, लेकिन यू शुड नॉट स्टॉप हियर. ऐसे बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बोलना चाह रहे हैं हम. ये मटेरियल तुम्हारा यहाँ तक के लिए नहीं है बेटा. बहुत लंबी जर्नी के लिए तुम बने हो. तुमको अपने आप को कन्फाइन नहीं करना चाहिए. एंड यू शुड फील वेरी वेरी हैप्पी एंड ग्लैड अबाउट इट दैट दिस इज द फीडबैक अबाउट यू. योर हार्ड वर्क डिजर्व्स मच मोर देन दिस. दैट्स ऑल आई कैन से राइट नाउ. बाकी सबका फीडबैक ले लीजिए. हम लोग बाद में भी बात करेंगे बेटा. आप इंटरव्यू दे लीजिए. विल बी इन टच. गॉड ब्लेस.
Sambhi, when my turn came, I have no mood to ask any question. The reason being, I was very convinced that you are through. Actually, you are through in the interview with the answer of Swati only. I think most of panel members agree with me. The moment you finished the Swati, you was through, and you have satisfied Swati. I have seen the face of Swati. Swati was quite happy. Only demerit I am seeing in you, you are very emotional. When your father's issue came, you are in the tears. It should not be. I always believe the want in the life or some shortcomings in the life is an asset. It's not a liability. Losing a father at early age has strengthened you. Had your father with you, I don't think you are here today what you are as a personality. You just think on this issue. The loss of father at the age of 12 and 13 made you a lot strong. You have shouldered the responsibility and you have taken.
Sir, I have to, so my phone is going to be switched off. Sir, I can take a moment, sir, to switch off my camera. Sir, only for 1 minute.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, brother.
Sir, continue.
Sambhi, therefore you don't think you have lost the father. You have ईश्वर ने किया वो हो गया. और कभी भी किसी भी व्यक्ति को अपने अंदर की इमोशन को एक्सप्रेस नहीं करना चाहिए. You have yesterday also one girl has expressed the emotion. Same you have expressed today. It may spoil the whole interview. Just try to practice it. आपका जो हुआ क्या है कि 200 मिनट ये क्रॉस कर रहा है. जितने देर में पूरा एक बैच निकल जाता है फर्स्ट हाफ का, उतने देर में यहाँ इंटरव्यू आपका 2 लोगों का हुआ. तो इतना लंबा इंटरव्यू आदमी को थोड़ा से ड्रेन कर देता है. शायद आपकी जो स्माइल लॉस हुई है, जो आपका आई मूवमेंट हुआ है, वो भी एक रीजन है। दूसरा, प्रीवी काउंसिल का केस है नहीं केस, ये ऐसे सवाल पूछा जाता है। आप कंटेंट आंसर कर दिया है, आप पूछते हो प्रीवी काउंसिल का है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट का है कि हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड्स का है, आपको याद नहीं आता, स्ट्रेट अवे नो बोलो, स्ट्रेट अवे नो बोलना आपको मार्क्स दे जाएगा। गलत अगर आपने गेस किया आपका मार्क्स कट जाएगा। किसी का इंटरेस्ट नहीं होता उस जानने में, क्योंकि आपने कंटेंट आंसर कर दिया था। जुडिशियल ओवररीच पे सर ने बोल दिया है, मेरे ख्याल से कोई ज्यादा इशू उसमें रहा नहीं है। एक मैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन ऑल्सो डू रॉन्ग, आई एक्सपेक्टिंग ए बेटर आंसर फ्रॉम यू। बहुत अच्छा सवाल, फुल टॉस था। ये जस्टिस भगवती का स्टेटमेंट है टू कमिट, ये बड़ौदा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का केस है, आप पढ़ना उसको। उन्होंने कहा था टू कमिट ए मिस्टेक इज टू अर्न इज ए ह्यूमन, टू परपिचुएट इट इज ए क्राइम। आपने ये फुल टॉस छोड़ दिया, मतलब आई वाज डिसअपॉइंटेड व्हेन यू लेफ्ट दिस फुल टॉस। सेम ट्रिपल तलाक, ट्रिपल तलाक वाज अगेन फुल टॉस। आप बेहतर कर सकते थे। एडीएम जबलपुर केस आपका अच्छा था, आंसर किया। अब एडीएम जबलपुर केस था, आपको उसमें जबरदस्ती किसी तरह से जो चंद्रचूड़ जी का जजमेंट घुसेड़ देना चाहिए था, आपको क्वेश्चन प्लान कर देना चाहिए था। Again, you got a full toss. I'm just telling you how you can enhance your answer, your performance. जब एडीएम जबलपुर केस आ गया था, आप किसी भी तरह से ऐसा करते कि चंद्रचूड़ जी का जजमेंट दिया जाता, तो आप क्या होता कि आप 2-4-5 मिनट अपने टर्म्स पे इंटरव्यू को आगे ले जाते। इंटरव्यू है क्या, अपने टर्म्स पे इंटरव्यू को आगे ले जाना। आप उसको आप देख रहे हो 15-20 मिनट ज्यादा किसी मिल नहीं रहा है। टुडे द अनु सर हैज गॉन टू द यूपीपीएससी, हैज सेड कि 15-20 मिनट ज्यादा किसी को नहीं मिल रहा है। उस 15-20 मिनट को आप कैसे यूज कर जाओगे। स्वाति के सारे आंसर आपने अच्छे दिए एक्सेप्ट आर्टिकल 370, और अच्छा होना चाहिए था। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बेंच पूछा था आपको और उसको एक्सपेंड करना चाहिए था। मतलब मैं कह रहा हूं कई ऐसे फुल टॉस थे, आई एम जस्ट ए बिट क्रिटिकल टू इंप्रूव यू, कुछ ऐसे थे। आपने क्वालिटी ऑफ जज में पूरा गुड लिसनर, इट इज द बेस्ट आंसर आई विल से, नोबडी हैज येट टोल्ड दिस। ये जो लाइन है ना, ये एक प्रीवी काउंसिल के जज की है कि जज शुड नॉट स्पीक, जज शुड ओनली लिसन। तो गुड लिसनर जो है, आपने गुड लिसनर लीगल एविडेंस, आपने पहला वर्ड गुड लिसनर, तो आपने इंप्रेस कर दिया था। मेरे ख्याल से काफी मैंने आपकी बातों को एनालाइज किया, कुछ छूट तो नहीं रहा है, कुछ छूट नहीं रहा आपका। बाकी अच्छे, आई टोटली एग्रीमेंट विद। मैं आपसे शेयर करता हूं, आई हैव ट्राइड हार्ड टू गो टू द आर्मी। आई हैव गिवन 4 टाइम एसएसबी। When I was given the 4-time SSB, I still remember, as Shaur is saying, Commodore Ahluwalia is looking at his C as saying, sometimes you thank me, why I have not selected you. Some of the boys I'm not selecting, but they may thank me in later part of the life. I remember every day that line of Commodore Ahluwalia. अगर मैं सिलेक्ट हो गया होता तो मैं आपसे न मिलता, मैं स्वाति से मिलता, मैं शौर्य से मिलता, चित्रेश से मिलता, मैं इतने बच्चों को न पढ़ाता। The most satisfied part of my life till date कि मैं इतने बच्चों को पढ़ाता हूं। तो अगर आप रिजेक्ट हो जाओगे तो शायद ईश्वर ने एहसान किया आपको, ये मान के चलना, because you have not made for the job which you are aspiring. I totally agree with the Shaur. You are exceptional girl, you can do anything. This job is not only future, it may be one of the future. आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो। आप बिल्कुल, आप बीच में नर्वस हो रहे थे, आप नर्वस बिल्कुल मत हो। आपकी माँ ने, यू हैव, व्हेन योर फादर डाइड, यू आर 12-13 योर ओल्ड गर्ल, 13 साल से आपकी माँ ने आपको यहाँ पे लाया। उनका जो सेक्रीफाइसेस आपके चेहरे पे, आपकी पर्सनालिटी में दिख रहा है। यू हैव बीन मेड ऑन अ डिफरेंट मेटल। मुझे आपके सिलेक्शन में कोई शक नहीं है। शौर ने कल किसी बच्चे के लिए बोला कि तुम्हारा मन करेगा इंटरव्यू देना, मन करे मत देना। आई एम टेलिंग यू सेम टू यू, तुम्हारा मन करेगा जाना, मन करेगा मत जाना, तुम लाइफ में अच्छा ही करोगी। तुम सिलेक्ट हो जाना, तुम्हारा मन करेगा ज्वाइन करना, मन करेगा मत ज्वाइन करना। इस इंटरव्यू को तुम जितने ईज और केयरफ्री होकर दे सकते हो दो। यू माइट गेट द हाईएस्ट मार्क इन 2023, I'm telling you, highest mark. I have taken the 20 interview, no one is near to you. You are matchless. I think Swati is also integrated with me. Shaur is also integrated with me. You are very good. Shaur has already told किया आप इस काम के लिए नहीं बने हो, आप दूसरा मैं कहूंगा आप इस एग्जाम को दे लो, आप सिविल सर्विस का भी आप एग्जाम दो, आप जरूर दो, यू कैन डू, दैट्स
सर
माय
आपको
साइड
ये
ऑल द
डिक्लेयर
बेस्ट
कर
टू
देते
आई।
हैं सर कि बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस, even if you get into it and if you have a plan B to prepare for civil service, we take responsibility on behalf of my elders and seniors and Chitresh bhai. I can commit to you that we take your responsibility whole and soul. You just have to
सामूहिक
learn.
ज्ञान है, हम लोग पिछले 5 सालों से सिर्फ अच्छे बच्चे ढूंढते हैं, 10 से 15 हजार बच्चे पिछले 5 सालों में हमारे पास आए होंगे, तो 10-15 हजार में से 20-25 भी हमको काम पे नहीं मिलते हैं। इट्स और मिसफॉर्च्यून, एवरी वीक एवरी डे वी एंश्योर डू हंट कि अच्छे बच्चे मिले, मिलते नहीं। अपने को पैसा नहीं चाहिए, अपने को नाम नहीं चाहिए, अपने को किसी आदमी के जीवन को सुधार चाहिए। मुझसे स्वाति जुड़ी, चित्रीश जुड़े, सौर जुड़े, बहुत से लोग जुड़े, हर आदमी का ड्रीम होता है। हम लोग इस प्रोसेस में हमारा पढ़ाई लगा आईएएस टॉप करें, हम लोग अभी तक पहुंच पाए हैं रैंक 55 तक। आई एम लुकिंग कि हमको जिसको हम रैंक 1 दिलाते, इट्स आवर ड्रीम कि जिसको मैं रैंक 1 लेके आऊं। अभी तक हम रैंक 55 तक पहुंचे हैं, हम वी आर सर्चिंग इट, यू माइट बी वन ऑफ द कैंडिडेट, जस्ट थिंक फॉर इट। आपका सिलेक्शन होगा, इसमें मुझे कोई शक नहीं है। अगर सिलेक्शन नहीं होगा तो समथिंग बेटर इज वेटिंग फॉर यू, दैट्स ऑल। थैंक यू शाम्भवी, थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
शाम्भवी,
शाम्भवी,
Yes,
जो
sir.
आपका पर्सनालिटी आप इंटरव्यू दो, आप बिल्कुल ज्यादा चिंता करने की कोशिश मत करो। जो सौर ने आपको टाइप बताया, चित्रेश बताया, स्वाति बताया, मैं बताया हूँ, जो कॉस्मेटिक चेंजेस है हल्का सा वही करो, बाकी अपनी इसी पर्सनालिटी के साथ जाओ। या स्वाति, एनीथिंग मोर?
सर
अच्छा, अपना वो बेटा साड़ी भेजना, जिसपे पहनना भेजना। आई विल चेक, स्वाति की को मैं देखता हूँ, लोग आपको राय देंगे कि क्या और किया सकता है उसमें।
Yes, Chitresh bhai, please.
सर मेरा रह गया फीडबैक।
हाँ हाँ, बोलो बोलो।
सर ऐसा है कि हम सबको क्या है, राय देने में बहुत मजा आता है ना, हम सब राय चलते हैं अंदर से। अब पूरा इंटरव्यू लिया, फीडबैक नहीं दिया तो ऐसा लगेगा कि मजा नहीं
नहीं
है।
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, फीडबैक तो मेन होता है, मेन तो फीडबैक ही
नहीं
होता
नहीं,
है
मैं
ना।
तो अपना बता रहा हूँ। शाम्भवी देखो, क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट गलत कर सकता है वाले सवाल में तुमने वही गलती की जो तुम्हारे पीछे से लोग करते आ रहे थे। गलत कर सकता है, हाँ कर सकता है, बस। उसके बाद एक और क्वेश्चन आता, उसका एक और अच्छा आंसर आता, मगर तुमने उसी में एक आंसर जबरदस्ती घुसेड़ा। तुम्हें लगा कि शायद हाँ बोलना पर्याप्त नहीं है, और फिर शौर्य सर को तुमको बीच में रोकना पड़ा कि भाई हो गया, मेरा आंसर मिल गया मुझे। तो
चित्रेश,
जहां उन्हें
चित्रेश मैं ऐड करता हूं, एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज की लाइन है, उन्होंने लिखा है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज येट टू गेटिंग मेच्योरिटी, एवरी डे सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज कीप चेंजिंग इट्स डिसीजन, आई डू नॉट नो व्हेन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज गोइंग टू बी मैच्योर। जो आप कह रहे हो, शायद सबसे बड़ा जो लाइन है, आई एम मिसिंग नेम, शायद जस्टिस भगवती का था जो हमको याद आ रहा है, उन्हीं का लाइन है ये।
हो
इट्स ट्रू
सकता है सर।
आल्सो।
और दूसरा, शाम्भवी जब आपका इंटरव्यू शुरू हुआ था, आपसे पूछा गया था आपका नाम स्वाति मैम ने, वो मैंने गलत सुना शायद, या क्योंकि वरना कोई ना कोई पॉइंट कर देता। आप एक बार रिकॉर्डिंग देख लेना। आपने बोला कि इट इज वन ऑफ द नेम्स ऑफ, आप शायद गॉडेस दुर्गा बोलना चाहती थी, लेकिन आपके मुंह से निकला था लॉर्डेस दुर्गा। अब वो हो सकता है मैंने गलत सुना हो, तो उसको एक बार आप प्लीज रिविजिट कर लीजिएगा, वो मेरी गलती भी हो सकती है, क्योंकि मैं भी
एक
कार में था
चित्रेश,
तो।
एक मिस्टेक और किया था इन्होंने, जब इन्होंने साम्भवी का अर्थ बताया था, जब सौर पूछ रहे थे, इन्होंने बोला था आई एम नॉट श्योर या आई थिंक। ये नहीं बोलो बेटा, ये नहीं बोलने का। आपने आंसर ठीक दिया था, लेकिन अपने नाम के अर्थ में ही अगर आप बोलोगे आई एम नॉट श्योर, तो बड़ी अच्छी साइन नहीं है, अच्छा साइन नहीं देता ये।
और एक मैं आपको सिर्फ एक कॉशनरी रिमार्क दे रहा हूं शाम्भवी, आपका इंटरव्यू बहुत अच्छा हुआ है, और जो आपके साथ मैं थोड़ा सा बदमाशी कर रहा था, उसका कारण ही यही था क्योंकि यू आर ऑलरेडी रेटेड वेरी हाईली। तो इसलिए मेरे लिए ये था कि अब भैया लेट हर टेक टू सम एब्स्ट्रैक्ट डायमेंशंस जहां उसको तंग किया जाएगा। तो आप ये मान के चलिए कि जब भी आपसे कठिन क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं, फालतू के टेढ़े मेढ़े क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं, कि आपको लगे कि ये इंटरव्यूअर पागल है, ये वाहियात सवाल पूछ रहा है, तो समझ जाओ कि यू हैव ऑलरेडी बीन रेटेड एट अ सर्टेन लेवल, कि इसके ऊपर तो आप हो ही, उसके नीचे आप नहीं हो, वरना फिर आपसे भी बेसिक ही सवाल पूछ लेते। आड़े तिरछे सवाल पूछने का क्या मतलब था। लेकिन थोड़ा सा शौर्य सर ने भी आपको बोला, आप थोड़ा सा जुडिशरी को डिफेंड करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। अब हमारे उस सवाल का सीधा सीधा उत्तर दो कि आपको ओवररीच पता था या नहीं पता था।
सर मैं उस वक्त कॉम्प्रिहेंड नहीं कर पा रही थी सर उसका मतलब, इसलिए सर मैंने बोल दिया।
अच्छा, तब कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि मुझे तो ये लगा कि आप हंस रहे हो, आपने सोचा कि ये बहुत हो गया, इसको बंद करो, इसलिए इसको निकालते हैं। बट ठीक है, ओवरऑल काफी अच्छा था, लेकिन इस चीज का थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना। मुझे नहीं पता, ओझा सर को शायद पता होगा कि इंटरव्यू पैनल में जो बैठते हैं लोग, उनका जुडिशरी का बैकग्राउंड होता है या क्या होता है, लेकिन अगर उसमें दो चार लोग ऐसे बैठ जाए ज्यादातर जिनका एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव बैकग्राउंड हो ना, तो थोड़ा सा जितना जुडिशियल ओवररीच हो रहा है आज की डेट में, इनफैक्ट आज ही गवर्नमेंट एक ड्राफ्ट एसओपी लेके आई है जिसमें वो मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट बना रहे हैं। कई बार क्या होता है कि एकदम लोअर जुडिशरी में एकदम नया नया जज आया है और अपनी ईगो को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए सीधे ये जीएसटी काउंसिल के प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर को बुलाओ और यहाँ खड़े करो। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी टसल चल रही है। ये ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ कोएलिशन पॉलिटी में क्या हुआ है कि एग्जीक्यूटिव बहुत वीक रहा काफी समय तक, और उसमें बहुत सारा वैक्यूम जो क्रिएट हुआ वो जुडिशरी ने ऑक्यूपाई कर लिया। और अब जुडिशरी उस वैक्यूम को छोड़ना नहीं चाहती है, लेकिन एग्जीक्यूटिव और लेजिस्लेटिव आज की डेट में बहुत स्ट्रांग हो चुका है, तो वो टसल चल रही है। उस टसल पे जब भी सवाल आए, यू शुड नेविगेट इट वेरी केयरफुली। उसमें आपका बायसनेस नहीं होना चाहिए कहीं को, बस मैं यही कहूंगा। क्योंकि थोड़ा सा आप ये बोल, हमेशा उसमें आप चाहो तो रिगल आउट कर जाओ, आपको लगे कठिन है, बोलो सर दिस इज माय लिमिटेड नॉलेज, दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव रेड थ्रू न्यूज़पेपर्स एंड अदर सोर्सेज ऑफ न्यूज, आई एम नॉट एन एक्सपर्ट ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट। आप बोल करके ना, बजाय कि उसको कि ये मेरी टर्फ है और मैं इसको डिफेंड कर रही हूं, उस तरह से ना साउंड हो। बाकी एवरीथिंग वाज परफेक्ट, बहुत ही अच्छा है, सबने आपको ऑलरेडी बता दिया है। यू हैव ऑल आवर ब्लेसिंग्स, you will definitely become a judge. All the very best.
एक चीज रॉन्ग जा सकती है, वो ध्यान रखना बेटा, आपके साथ अगर कोई चीज गलत जाएगी तो एक ही चीज, देयर इज ओनली वन थिंग आई एम अफ्रेड ऑफ, एंड दिस क्लू इमर्ज फ्रॉम चित्रेश भाई's discussion, and that is, कहीं in good faith you don't enter into some discussion or argument. Never do that, because you are well prepared. So sometimes it may happen that undeliberately you happen to engage into unnecessary confrontation or argument. वो मत करना बेटा। Second या third counter question पे you should have the tenacity to judge कि अब ये गड़बड़ा रहा है, हाथ जोड़ लेना यहाँ पे कि sir, I think my understanding is not that deep or my maturity is not of that level that I can sufficiently answer this. I'll need more study, sir. निकल लो वहां से धीरे से, ये मत होने देना अपने साथ। बस that was the final feedback.
Okay, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
ऑल द बेस्ट, बड़ा अच्छा रहा। मेरे ख्याल से ये ऑलमोस्ट 3 आवर्स हो गए, 4 आवर्स हो गए करते हैं हम लोगों को। चलो ओके, टेक केयर बेटा। हाँ,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.